Red is on.
Red is on. Red is on. Red is on.
Okay, we'll open this meeting of October 13th, 2016. Let the record show that Selectman Jessamine is not present. He is representing the board at the Taste of the Trails auction tonight.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, so we have approval of the minutes. Oh, unless, Joyce, do you want to go into non-public now for the personnel? Okay, let's do that. Make a motion, we go into non-public, RSA 91A:3, personnel.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Where's the you got the remote?
We finally get a report from the chief. Everybody got it? Okay.
Is the camera on?
Make a motion, we seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to personnel permanently.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 So I think it's time to announce that we have selected a mechanic for the town of Tilton Highway Department, Kevin Duval. He is on duty working, and we have a Director of Public Works coming on October 24th. All right. We'll keep the public
gotta read it,
waiting on
John.
that.
I just sent it
We hadn't
over.
announced it.
Oh, you found it?
I found it, but
Oh, I just sent the copy over.
that's
to you.
fine.
Those deadlines for Casella, do they pertain to water testing, site testing, monitoring wells?
They've excessively gone over continually on all of, exceedances on all of their limits on the outflow from stormwater.
No, Mr. Burnham.
Okay.
Want me to call him?
No? Do you,
Well, he's got 5 more minutes, right?
no? 4:45.
Oh, I thought he was on from 5 to 5:30.
No. 4:45 to,
He said in the voicemail, 4:30.
Oh. Okay.
oh, wait.
Okay.
What do you,
I just called him. We're in public notice. Appreciate it. He'll be in tomorrow morning.
So was that a positive?
yes?
Negative?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all we need to hear. Thank
Sorry,
you.
I just saw you.
It was a little cryptic, that was
Oh,
all.
I'm sorry.
You left us guessing.
Better get a crack at one of these things.
All right.
I don't have the rest of these minutes. Or is that a mistake?
All right. So, while we're waiting for our appointment, let's talk about highway. There's a snowplow operative safety school delivered by Primex training at the Primex training facility Thursday, November 10th, from 9 to 12. We have 2. You said Kevin and Jack would like to go.
What is it for,
It's,
specifically?
Learn objectives for this course are highlight the leading injury causes and associated control measures for plow operators. Learn the importance from a worker safety standpoint of pre-planning the plow route. Identify how sleep and dietary factors can affect the health and safety of plow operators. Understand the public relations aspect of plowing and snow removal.
So this is a classroom, this isn't a hands-on thing.
This is Primex.
Oh,
Part
this
of
is
Primex, right, new that for this session, part of Primex snowplow operator safety program will utilize a snowplow simulator that uses the state-of-the-art technology to prepare snowplow drivers to expect the unexpected and deal with the challenges of adverse winter conditions.
How many people? Does it tell you
It
the
doesn't say how many people.
maximum?
They'll
9
have
to
3
12.
CEUs, full attendance and participation.
9 to 12. Do we gain any
It says
points on our
employees
insurance?
and, yeah, we do, don't we? Joyce, don't we? We gain points on our insurance if we do, if we have certificates.
Oh, yes.
Employees and their supervisors up to and including department heads who are responsible for snow plowing and snow removal operations are open to members in the work and compensation, property and liability programs. That means Joyce could go too. It doesn't say, there's no cost to it?
There is on the registration, I remember that for one of the things that it's on your email under snowplow operator safety training, which is the entire details. I think it's like $60 or something. Oh, snowplow operator safety is full, please try another day. Okay, well. Saying we snooze, we lose, I guess.
Wow.
Could we approve it if another date appears?
Yes.
Give it pre-approval?
Yep. Make a motion, we approve it if another date it comes about.
Second.
Why is this full?
Yeah.
I just went on to get more details.
She just went on to get more details, and says, this class is full.
That's why I asked how many.
Doesn't really say there, does it? All right, the next thing on the thing for highway is that we get them short sleeve T-shirts and 2 sweatshirts. I asked the vendor where we get the T-shirts from and sweatshirts if he could give us pricing for a long sleeve shirt, and it's, depending on the size, $15 or $16 for a long sleeve shirt. Now, myself, if you're going to go out there and send them out with a short sleeve T-shirt and a sweatshirt to remove snow, I think we should at least have a long sleeve shirt available to them. I don't know how anybody else feels. It goes it's $13 for small to extra large, and then 15 for like a 2X, and then 16 for the up.
Is it still included in that contract for the laundry? Same,
The pants are.
once the shirts,
The pants are.
who cleans the
The
shirts
other thing
now?
is also the other thing we need to think of is the jackets. We have 4 employees now that need the jackets. And we get the previous jackets that we've got were from BB Chain. And they're like a 3 seasonal, zippered in the inside, reflective, all of that.
All of that.
And so we'll need to get those, but this was not planned for, so I want the board's approval because I think it's a good idea.
What do they think?
I think it's a terrific idea.
It's something they would wear?
This is something that they brought to my attention. Did they bring it to your attention? Yeah. I
So
think
who
we could
cleans the shirts?
probably, they wash their own T-shirts and sweatshirts. But the pants, we have a cleaning service that comes in, like the mechanic. They come in on Tuesdays, I believe. They come in, pick them up, and drop them back off. They stay right there in their locker room. So we could place the order because we know we have a director coming in. We're going to be placing an order with that person as well. So we have two that we need to place orders for short sleeve shirts and sweatshirts. We could place it all at once, and then we would save a little bit on the shipping as well.
I'm okay with that.
The jackets, you may find, the bottom half is going to maybe black, and the top half will be the yellow, because the bottom half always gets dirty anyways.
So it'll be like a sort of short vest, reflective.
Yeah.
Right. Bottom part. So,
Keep them safe.
Yeah.
make them, how many do you, what do you think per person?
Shirts?
The long sleeve?
Couple.
Couple?
What'd you say?
I was going to say 3, but I can live with 2.
All right, so kind of majority thinks 2, Peter's going to go with 3.
But I'm
Well, I
not,
think-
it's not a hill I'm going to die on.
Right. Me either, I just think we need, I mean, one's in the wash and one's on them, so works for now, and we could figure it out next year.
Spending the highway.
Well, in the wintertime, you know, it's like my guys out there working will often wear long underwear
Yeah,
and a t-shirt, you know, a short sleeve t-shirt over the long underwear top. That was my favorite way to dress too.
yeah.
So they very seldom, the only time they wore those long sleeve t-shirts was kind of in the spring and the fall.
So I'll make a motion that we purchase 2 each. Make a motion to purchase long sleeve t-shirts for the highway department, 2 per person.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. We'll make it in conjunction with the other new employees order, so it cuts down on the thing. Okay,
Oh, they're long sleeve t-shirts?
with the logo on it, just like the short sleeve.
If it's winter time and they're going to wear, it should be a polypro shirt as opposed to a cotton. If they want to stay warm, cotton's cold in the winter. And if they get hot and sweat, it's just going to make them colder. Looking to truly keep them warm.
Don't wear anything that's poly.
What do you think, Peter?
Cotton, you never wear cotton and just stay warm.
Wear wool.
Yeah, wool, but they,
Do you want me to ask what the difference is in pricing?
Ask the guys what they'd prefer.
Okay. And then ask for the difference in pricing. If it's huge,
If they
then
want to go as a poly,
we'll come back.
yeah, ask them.
Okay.
I mean, get the pricing, but ask the guys what they'd prefer.
All right, all those in favor of this motion?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. The beam replacement that we have at the shed, at the sand shed, that's broken, we got a $1,000 quote.
The guys seem to think they could fix it.
They can fix it in-house. We have a proposal in our email.
$163 or something for the piece of wood.
Fix it.
Right. Well, I asked Kevin to please just give us an idea of what he would do to fix it, so that everybody's on board with that he's capable of doing that. And that's what I wanted everyone to make sure that
Sounded exactly right.
I had,
Pole barn.
yeah, I happened to be down there looking at solar lights, and he spoke to me about it.
Okay.
He's on target with what he
Yeah, I
knows
thought
what.
that's a great idea.
Everybody's okay with that? We'll just say, go ahead and have the team work it out, and get it done?
I got faith in them.
I do too.
Me too. I do too, okay. Okay, the highway had asked, perhaps maybe, a few years back they did this, but they have not been doing it since. They would like to, the island park benches, put them in the gazebo and chain them for the winter, instead of carrying them over the bridge and then finding a place at the highway garage. What do you
I
think?
think that's asking for trouble. They're still going to be exposed to the weather.
And, people
The
go
gazebo
cross,
fills up with snow and ice.
people cross-country ski and go out there, and
They like
it
to,
looks nice in the winter, lit up, and Christmas lights, and exposed to a bunch of furniture.
and people actually sit, you'll see them sitting in there.
Okay. I will relay it, it's consensus to go ahead.
Apparently.
Well, Peter didn't weigh in on it.
Well, yeah, I know, but...
I've lost the battle, so why even weigh in at this point?
Well, convince us otherwise.
Well, when we get our workers' comp claim, because someone throws their back out carrying those across, I'll say, that's why I was thinking of leaving them there.
Couldn't we wrap them up, put a tarp on them?
Geez, I've got a
Put 'em
little
in a
dolly
pile, put
thing
it-
that they could pull across, set it on, and pull it right over on it. It's a great thing.
Could they be put in one spot, put a tarp on it, bungee cord it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be vandalized.
I don't know if they don't get vandalized sitting out now.
Well, lights were all taken, remember, and the power strips and all of that. I can't
Yeah,
imagine
that's-
anybody carrying a park bench over the island in the winter and somebody not noticing it.
Oh, no, but they can pick them up and throw them in the river. That's what they do from Park. They took all our
It's one of those
grates.
things. I think,
Remember they took the grates and threw those in the
Whose
river?
bench was in the river?
I've tried
Yeah,
lifting
that's
those
right.
benches, and they are super
They are
heavy.
very heavy.
It only takes two people.
To lift a park bench,
Yeah, but to carry it too, that's,
you have to carry it all the way over the bridge. That's pretty
they're too big.
dolly, but
You need
you
this-
can't really use it on the bridge because of the unevenness of the, no, that's the wrong word to use. The boards, the way the boards go, the
arch.
the casters go into the, right, they go into the grooves of the board, so it's very hard to push it,
I think,
is what I meant. Not the unevenness. Go ahead.
yeah, put them all together, put a tarp over them, bungee cord
If they
it.
were gonna get thrown in the river, why wouldn't they be done during the summertime when they're having their parties there?
Yeah.
A lot more cover in the winter.
I'm told that they have done it in the past, but
Those are heavy.
nothing's happened, but I
Hey, you
don't,
want to try it for a year? See what happens.
I could go
How
either
many
way. It
benches
doesn't-
are there?
8,
There's 10, I believe.
10?
I believe there's 10, because we bought extras a couple years ago, the blue ones,
If they want to move them to the back side, well, not the,
with the arches.
no, I'd move them on the Northfield side of the pavilion. Out of the way. Like John said, tarp them over, but I wouldn't put them in the pavilion.
Well, whoever does the inspection this weekend for the wedding, on Sunday, pick down the benches.
Tarp them really well.
Okay.
If you want, I'll have them fluid film them for you.
We could chain them and then top them. That's a safer way. Then they get painted, but the ones that need to be painted in the winter,
They'll have to take
they
them
have
out.
to take them out. And that, I told them that right up front. If there are some that need to be taken out, they need to be taken
They
out.
stack all those benches. They're gonna have some that, they're gonna have to paint them in the summer. You don't think those benches are gonna scratch and chip each other?
Oh, we can't paint them in March?
All right.
Oh, that's right, this,
If they carry them off the island, they're not frozen together into the ground, they're gonna have to carry them off the island and go trudge through the snow if there's still snow.
I thought you were pulling the ones that needed to be painted off.
I'm saying if they stack those benches on top of each other, they're gonna get chipped.
Yeah. They would have to.
But try it, see what happens.
All right. Okay,
Less time, less labor, less money.
the, Rob Seawood called from
Middle.
middle school principal. They would like to teach the students about voting and election and what happens behind the scenes and during election. So we tried to explain a lot of what goes on and all the different pieces and parts to what an election is about, which the moderator, the town clerk, the selectmen's duties are. That in itself was an education to Rob. But what he would like us to do, because he cannot do, Cindy cannot do anything with the voting machine and cannot do anything with being there. She's unable to be there. So that part is out, but Chuck had suggested that they have to make up their own ballots. You can't copy it, it's illegal to copy a ballot. And then present, the whole setup, and then have a ballot box instead of the voting machine. And they could have a picture of the voting machine to see what it's like, but what that means to us as selectmen is that we would ask, he would get permission to see if we can set up earlier in the day instead of having it set up 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon with the highway department. Actually, last year I thought it was later because it was a game and we had to pay overtime, but...
Last year was later. This year we lucked out.
So they would like to have it sort of in the morning, like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and then they can have the students come in, and if there's a selectman or two available during that time, he would appreciate it. So Chuck is unable, he may possibly be available during the day if they would like him, but he doesn't really know definitively. And if one of us are available that day on Monday before election, that would be great too. So what I'd like to tell them is that we're behind this and we're able to support them in teaching them about voting and election and all of that, and just say, go ahead and get permission. If he gets permission, we'll ask the highway crew to go up and, which means the selectmen go in the morning with them, Cindy, and set up in the morning instead of the afternoon.
Well, even Cindy doesn't have to be there, because we can, we're responsible for the setup. We can go set it up. If the moderator or the town clerk need to tweak something, they weren't there really this year for the setup until, they got there very late. But, that would be fine. I don't want to delay anything or hold it up, because the town clerk and the moderator are going to be exceptionally busy for a while.
Exactly.
This election's going to be crazy. But I would suspect that out of our ballot clerks, there might be one that would be willing to volunteer some time. And I can think of at least one supervisor of the checklist that may be able to get some time away.
In 400 feet, turn left onto Academy Street.
Do you want to, so, absolutely. We
I'd
all
like to go
support-
forward with it, and I think whatever selectmen are available, we can,
Work on it from that end?
yeah, we can all have a role, somebody can play the moderator, clerk.
Yep.
I think it's a great opportunity to interact with those kids and teach them something about the election process.
Anything to do with civics or elections, I'm all for it. Much needed.
All right, I will call him. Let him know. Thank you. Okay, it looks like our appointment's here. We do have another appointment coming in, Dave, but let's try to get as much done as we can. Come on up. How are you? Okay, sorry about that. Just so you know, our meetings are always recorded, and it's posted on our website, so the residents can view our meeting. All right. So you have some questions that you would like some answers to.
I have enough questions that could probably last about a week, but we'll address on a few of them.
Okay.
The first question is, I would like to know why all the selectmen came to the conclusion that I'm dangerous and I can't be going to town hall and ask for any information, and basically your Joyce basically showed a lot more dangerous than I have, because she's lost her control and basically threatened to have me forcibly removed if I didn't leave. Not once, twice, 3, 4 times. The police were called. And it was said that all you people voted to have that happen. Okay? She witnessed me being basically pummeled by Joyce, and
You should caution your, if you're going to talk about another individual, especially a employee, probably shouldn't do it in public, but if you want to refer to them as
okay,
a town employee, let's
that'll be
not
fine. I have no problem with that,
Okay, thank
sorry.
you.
Okay. A town employee basically told me that you all voted that I was taking up too much of their time, and I didn't know what I was doing, and basically that I couldn't have access to everybody that worked at the town hall. And basically, Joyce, the employee lost her cool and basically was yelling and screaming at me that you gotta leave, and if you don't leave, I don't want to have you taken out. And next thing you know, the Tilton policeman came and I was escorted out of there. And Joyce said, the town employee stated that I wasn't able to talk to Selectman Dawson. Well, I wasn't there to talk to Selectman Dawson. I was there in the capacity to talk to health inspector. And as far as being a taxpayer, I've been treated so poorly, and all I want to do is move here and be left alone, me and my wife. And this has been the most horrific experience, and I've lived all over the world, that I've ever had. And I've seen things and corruption that I cannot fathom. And for you people to basically have me hauled out of the town hall, as supposedly all of yous voted on it, that's ludicrous, because I'm here to help. But now, I'm not. I'm here because I tried to do it the right way with you people. Can't do it. So now, I have to do what I have to do. For me, my wife, and to be humiliated with my wife there. And I know I'm so dangerous that your building inspector came to my house and said, everything's cool, everything's okay. And I stated, I want to know why this can be, because I said, this is not right. Nothing's okay. And I handed him basically a inspection, and he just threw it to the side and said, those are worthless. I know what I'm doing. Well, I beg to differ. I don't even know how he got the job as a building inspector.
Mr. Burnham, we need to,
Okay.
when we talk about personnel, we're in public. If you have a complaint against a particular
I've already
person-
brought that complaint, and it has not been ruled on, and it's been tabled way too long.
It's not been tabled, Mr. Burnham.
Oh, it hasn't been ruled on, miss.
We have ruled on that.
Okay.
And we have taken appropriate action. We cannot discuss what action or what we've done because it's a personnel issue, and we were waiting for you to come in and tell you that.
Okay.
So,
All
yes,
right,
it
getting
has-
back to me. I was hauled out of here yesterday. Gail called the police. Joyce has given me more excuses than Carter's got pills. And basically, I have got nothing from the town of Tilton. I've gotten everything on my own. And when I have to do the jobs of all the people here, and I'm not getting paid, and I hear, well, you're taking up too much time? Well, I get about $5,000 into this in hundreds of hours. And basically, maybe the people that are in the positions have been there too long, and it's need to basically look at it and reassess some things. Because a lot of employees in the town of Tilton, and I know you control some of them, but to basically have me thrown out just tells me one thing. I'm hitting on a lot of spots that basically they don't want me to. And I've been roadblocked at every avenue and have given no information that's public information.
I'm going to stop you right there, Mr. Burnham, because our reason for you to be here tonight is so that you can ask us some questions and that you have information, you would like information from us, so...
I would like to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Why did you come to the conclusion that I could not have access to the town hall? We'll start there.
First of all, we do not say to folks that they do not have access to the town hall, okay? Number one. Number two is when you come into the town hall, or a resident or a person comes into the town hall, there are very few times in my lifetime as a selectman that we call police, and we call police because we teach our employees about work safety. And if we have a person that comes in, you're asking a question, I'm going to answer it to you.
Okay.
Ask a question. When voices are raised and there's an interaction, a negative interaction with another employee, then the situation needs to be resolved. One way or another, it needs to be resolved. And the first thing that we do is we ask the person if they could leave. And if that person doesn't wish to leave and it escalates, then they have that choice.
Okay.
So, yes. And unfortunately, that did happen yesterday, unfortunately. I apologize to you for that happening yesterday. Tuesday, excuse me, not yesterday. Tuesday. And hope we could move forward to that and getting...
Tell you the truth, Chairman, I talked to my wife.
Okay?
We do not accept your apology. And as far as basically being thrown out, then Joyce should be thrown out because she's gotten loud. No, excuse me. The employee should be, a certain employee should be thrown out because she's got louder and come at me way too many times and has had me escorted out in front of all the employees that can witness it. That is wrong. That's using her power. And basically, Dari, okay?
Hold on one
Oh,
second.
excuse me, town
Hold on
employee.
1 second, Mr. I make a motion to go into non-public per RSA 91A:3 personnel.
Second.
What?
Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 You,
Hold on. Thank you.
no,
Hold on, we have People in the audience.
Septic and illegal leach
Are we
field.
still in non, or are we coming out?
The camera's on.
So I don't have to, I can flip the sign, so we're,
Yep.
okay.
Yes, please.
He was absolutely spot on. Doesn't horrendous.
It's tough. Frustrated citizens, and sometimes it takes a little while longer than a day or two to unwind
Well, he's
some
brought
of
up
these
some
things.
really interesting points.
So,
Very interesting points. No. I was here when Joyce asked him to leave. She did it very nicely, very politely. Theo, for the minutes of September 29th, I only have one page.
That's all there is.
Oh,
29?
yeah.
Well, it should be two on that.
That's what was in my folder.
John, do you have one?
I have page 1. It's,
Come on up.
I'm glad it wasn't just me.
I
Hello.
apologize for making you wait this long. Come on up.
I made it, that was good.
Okay. Take a seat. Make a motion, we seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to personnel permit.
Second.
All those in, roll call vote.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now we can continue. Okay. So you're here for drainage, driveway kind of issue, right? So, do I have the file? What's the other? Okay, got it. Tell us about what the issue is.
Okay, the big one is on the drainage. The drains are up high on the old Route 3, so what happens, and we do a picture, we didn't bring a big enough. It skirts around the drains, and it completely drains into our driveway. We even go into, get out of the car, you're stepping in 3 inches of water, and it rushes through, and it's also eroding the frontage. So that's one of the issues. The part about the driveway wanting to move is because our driveway, there's a right-of-way through the driveway, through the middle of the driveway for the people in the very back. Her name's Debbie and Laura live back there. So it's 7.5 feet on our land, 7.5 feet on the store's land. So it's a 15-foot right-of-way to hers, but our driveways are separate. So we don't have a right-of-way over each other's driveway, but Debbie has a right-of-way over both of our driveways. That right-of-way is constantly blocked, constantly. By the store's customers, basically, generally speaking, but they also park so that that right-of-way is also blocked. So if we move our driveway, we're hoping to be able to get access into our house without having to deal with all the cars. And they park all along in front of the house, which is our driveway. It's not even the right-of-way.
So if you drive into the market, you're on the left,
Yeah,
and are you way on the water?
we're on the water.
So are you abutting the old Route 3?
Yes.
The road there where the drainage is. So you're the first house?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're the ones getting all of it. It's
Okay.
just all going there. But the thing that's really frightening, I guess, for us is that come winter, if it freezes over, you can throw all the salt down the world. If it melts just a little bit during the day, it's going to be one big sheet of ice, and they've told us they've had problems with that for a while.
How long have you been there?
June.
Oh, so you just purchased the
Yeah.
property? Okay. We do,
Peter, I was of the understanding there's only one drain culvert there. The other is a sewer manhole?
The one toward the middle of the parking lot's a sewer manhole. On the side slope of the Mosquito Bridge approach is the catch basin that's DOT's.
That's what I thought.
That's a water one? The catch basin, is that water?
The catch basin catches the water.
Right, the sewer manhole is
About a
just...
foot too
just
high.
sewer. There's no
Okay.
water should be getting into it.
Yeah. And then there's one down the way, in front of the store, but in front of like the bike shop.
Up towards, just north or beyond the bike shop towards the lobster.
It's
Right, but
way
that
too.
shouldn't, That shouldn't have anything to do with
It shouldn't.
this area.
It does. It
That's-
drains around that one and just keeps heading this way. So it just, the
I
whole,
see.
that's what I'm saying, when I say the whole street's draining,
Well, that catch basin down by the Lobster Pound area
Yeah.
isn't designed to catch water by your place.
no, but what's happening is it's missing the water there and it's skirting,
Well, it's also not designed to catch all of the water. It can't.
but it doesn't catch any of the water.
I think what she's saying is the grate's high enough that the water goes around it because
Around it.
Oh,
it's
the
not...
grate's high.
Yeah.
And just adds to the water that you already have,
Grate
doubling
is too
the...
high.
Exactly.
Okay,
Water-
I thought you were talking about the road.
And
I'm sorry.
everything's looking for a low
We got a
point.
plan.
This is-
It just
what are you looking
continues to
at,
go further down
Would this help to-
towards us.
Yes,
No,
there's one
that's
down
ours.
here, I
That's
think, too.
somewhere right
No,
around here?
the state
and
owns
it all
the
drains here,
area
and
directly in
that's the
front
drain
of,
That's too high.
Yeah, what happens
They
is it
purchased
shoots
Betty
here,
Welch's house.
and actually
Betty
down
Welch's
through
old
this way,
house.
so this whole area gets inches of
the
water.
state claims that. They say they have a deed to it and it's
That's
fine.
perfect.
But that's their area, that's their catch basin up there on the road. Mike Kimball came with the print and went over it with us and said, that's ours, this is yours. Drew it out,
So we own the one up by the lobster place,
that's ours.
so
Well,
you've looked at it, right?
well,
Not recently. But
it's in our road,
Okay.
but it's part of the DOT's
These
drainage system.
Okay.
So it's in our road, but,
Are we the ones that can lower it, or are they the ones that
not without
lower
their
it?
permission,
Okay,
because
good.
it's part of their
That's what I
system.
was getting at. All right.
Okay, because Joyce had told me 2 weeks ago that the neighbor had permission to lower those catch basins.
No, the neighbor has permission to lower our sewer manhole,
Okay.
because that isn't going to affect the flow of the sewer, and it has nothing to do with drainage.
Well, I think,
He's doing it because of the elevation and the pitch he wants to
That's what we're talking
maintain
about.
with the asphalt.
Well-
But that sewer manhole has nothing to do with catching any water.
But if he's going to do anything to the catch basins, he had to get in touch with
touch with the
District
state.
3.
That's right.
DOT.
okay, so that's, I guess, part of what we want to understand, because it is the grates that are too high, not the sewer, just the, you guys are calling them the grates?
Right,
So the grates are too high, which is causing the drainage issue.
which is the state.
Right, which is the neighbor working on those, or no?
No, he has to get state permission to work on those. What we gave him, what we talked about with him, it hasn't been finalized.
Yeah.
What we talked about was resurfacing the parking lot, which would include our old Route 3 portion. And it would be graded to go into the grate,
Right.
okay? So we wouldn't have that puddle that we have in front of that area on the left of the market in front of your house.
Yeah, it's more than a puddle at our place, so it's actually a hazard.
If New Hampshire DOT says no,
Then it's, we
then
we
we're
don't
not
have any-
sure what we would be doing there, probably draining it onto the grassed area that DOT owns.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't, I think it's more of a safety issue than, like, we're not sure who this is, so it would be helpful if somebody would tell us this is the person that makes the decision on that.
Do you need to get in touch with
District 3?
District 3, which is
So-
5,
Part of the the next conversation is the driveway application. Back in July, I sat with Ari, land use Tilton, and Mike Kimball with Dot 3. And it just makes sense to do these at the same time. The driveway application is something that is already in process, and part of it is you need a surveyor to identify a certain point, so that you can't be on state land versus town right of way. But since this is all together, the road frankly comes first.
The drain.
If there's going to be resurfacing and regrading and such,
my understanding is that the state said that you couldn't have a right-of-way coming out of there.
That we could with the town
not on their
right of way.
Okay.
Why there's a point there.
75 feet from the water. And I've got a rough idea where that would be.
Which would then come onto town property.
Correct.
Right.
Well, there's an alternative coming out of their property, which might be town, but that would put your access in the middle of So the right-of-way comes between the market and the Welch property, that's a right-of-way. So wherever else they'd want to come out, would have them coming out into, what essentially is a flow of traffic, ingressing and egressing.
How do you get in there now? Through the market?
We go through the market, but it's always blocked
It's
and they block.
it's down,
Can you see it from here?
We're actually going, I think, even onto their land to get there because the old road's gone.
The egress point is almost directly from the corner of their building. So it's located in a tough spot,
Yep.
frankly, for their patrons as well as for us. So when we say there's always some form of blocking, there is. Some of it's unintentional, some of it's intentional. I've got dogs tied to the gate entering, it's just bizarre. And, some of that's summer months, but even now, I've discovered some random things. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So if you look at there where that chain is across, I don't know if you can see the chain to the driveway, they do park directly out of there too, the store people park there in the right of way. Their customers park in the right of way, their trucks park in the right of way. Trying to get out is very difficult. And the other part, if they're paving on the old Route 3, it would be good to see what that plan is, because we don't want more issues coming to us, causing more problems if it's not going to drain. They want to make sure too that they don't. They should be separate driveways, or two separate driveways, and just have those markers. We want to make sure it's
The water flow is changing, parking as well. To include the watermarks, and it's definitely softening up the shore.
But you're saying that Tilton can't do anything about it, that it has to be the state?
it's their drainage system.
All right, so then you have to keep the state, because they're the only ones who can fix it.
Well, they're the only ones that can do. So if the town, if we want to go forward with this project, they could give us permission to fix it. Yeah, but they don't really like people messing with their drainage systems. I mean, their response to us may be, well, make your drainage system, your grade match ours.
I think they caused it when they put the bridge in.
That bridge has been moved
Right. I was wondering, they said that's when they
Twice?
created the issue.
Probably some settling too in the parking lot
Gotta be like down through,
over the years.
road heading out back.
So your property does not have any access to the town because it comes straight out into your right-of-way.
We actually don't have a right-of-way there. It's our driveway.
Okay, but the town doesn't own this strip,
Right, we agree.
right here.
We agree.
This is the state's boundary, as Mike Kimball defined to us. This is the town's. This is the town's, and the state's over here, we're over here. This is all the state. They say they have a deed to this, which they purchased from the Welches.
Actually, I pulled all the deeds, so yeah, they do have one.
So
It's
here is
state
the,
of New Hampshire.
and they have every right to
Yeah.
air, you name it.
Yes.
It's quite impressive.
And this is the dock right here. This is the docking spot right here.
Oh, the parking you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the parking's right here, exactly. In
No, this is the parking for
Well, they
us.
park on the
That's the
ground.
store, we
Yeah.
park over here,
Oh, yeah, but this is, where is your driveway on this?
right here.
Okay.
So what
So
I'm
here
looking
is
at
the
here,
town's property,
Yep,
is here. So there's no place that the town can give you a right-of-way
that's your driveway.
to enter your property.
yep, and what's happening is everybody's parking up this way, along this way, and then they park cars along this way. So when you go to get out, it is very difficult, so we were hoping to turn it this way and come up this way.
The location
Here
of
and
where
here is what they were telling us.
their porta
No,
potties
that's
are
state.
placed. That's probably the,
Oops, I lost that.
is a landmark.
See this?
See that line?
Right
That's
there?
state.
That is this boundary line.
Into the right.
This is the state.
Right.
This is the town of Tilton.
While you're looking at it, to the left of that, this is state.
Yeah,
So coming out of there, it would be state.
so we'll have to go stay on that one too. All right, well, that's good to know, because that was the point of contention with,
Do you see that?
Mike Kimball
Right
said
here.
otherwise, yeah.
said up to 75 feet from the watermark. So that was the need for the surveyor to identify that point. And then that's where town right-of-way begins versus
Our
state.
right-of-way begins right there.
Well, you know what? Let
And
me
that's
look up
per
the
Mike
deeds, 'cause
Kimball.
I have the deeds.
That's gonna be 75 feet, because how long is your
It's 89.
driveway?
It's 90 feet long,
But
89.
this is this, Mike Kimball sat downstairs. This is our boundary. See this?
No,
right
I've
away?
got it. I do, I understand on here, I know what you're saying, but we'll look to see how many feet back. The thing is, ours is over here, so we're over here, right here, see that fence? We're over here, and we want to come out, I'm gonna guess it's this way, that's why he's saying he's telling us it's town.
No, we don't own this.
Definitely not, agreed.
This is a right-of-way.
Yeah,
And our boundary line is here and here.
We don't have access to
So
your
you
driveway
have,
at all.
you know, I mean, you have,
we're not over there, we're over here.
this is your boundary, right? So in order for you to come out this way,
Yeah,
is state, 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 state.
yeah. So.
Right-of-way, 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 right-of-way.
Mike was adamant at 75. You know, that line there, that Laura just pointed out, it's 89 feet on the deed. So there's...
So we'll look to
there's
see
a-
what.
So it has to be 75 feet from the water, and that deed, you don't
I mean,
know
I can only tell you that
away.
at one
That's why you
time,
just said 75 feet
the
to keep the
town
road
went
that far.
all the way.
Right.
This
I
forget what
was
the
the
shore
very first bridge, well, actually,
That might be
when
what
there was
he's
a
referring to. You can't
ferry
drive
across the river. This was a town
75 and
road.
89. You
This
got
is why
that
it came back to the town after the state abandoned it. They kept this piece for themselves in case they ever have to put the bridge back.
Right, of course, that makes sense.
So if
I
they
just-
say this is the end for us, that's the end for us.
Because that's what it says, LA Landier, right?
Yeah.
Landier. See right over
So we couldn't grant you, we can't grant you access unless they,
Grant access first. So they have to grant access first, that's the order of things, so we'll talk to them on that. As far as
And then-
everything draining into our driveway, we have to also talk to them, but if we get permission on that, or if we talk to them and say it needs to get corrected, we have to talk to them about fixing it?
We're gonna have, if you want this catch basin,
We
lower.
want the whole town to stop draining in the driveway and causing a hazard, because right now it's a hazard.
if you want this drainage system, this catch basin, and the one that's up in here
To catch water.
to
Skirting around it.
change,
Yeah.
New Hampshire DOT is going to have to do it, unless they give you permission to do it. It's their drainage system.
Well, they have to do it, otherwise they're gonna get sued because it causes a hazard, right? So they have to do it. So,
Otherwise, it might come out.
yeah, that's actually a danger. They can't just drain everything into somebody's driveway.
We always say that they have to do it.
Yeah, I want to know how that works for you.
It's causing a hazard and it's actually causing a drainage issue. All you do is make a call.
We had a road up here that the students, the bus with students on it had to drive on the opposite side of the road for a very long, lengthy time until we invited the commissioner
Yeah.
of DOT to come up and ride the bus. And it was around a curve, and the parents were very upset that their
Because the
children
other
had to
thing we
ride
do
on
is
the
we can
wrong
lift
side
the
of the
lip
bus.
there, because then the store's gonna get mad. All we have to do is lift the lip on our land, and all the water's gonna stay over there, and that's not gonna make the store happy. So it's one of those,
Right.
what do you do? We don't wanna keep them up, we'd rather have it done properly.
Well, he's also trying to
pave.
resolve it, and he's trying to get everything to drain toward the DOT basin. He's probably also in touch with District 3.
Right.
They're saying that, but nobody's giving us any information. We
Okay.
ask and we get yelled at.
Okay.
So it would be good if somebody would communicate to us if they're trying to do that.
That's what they are trying to do.
Well, they told us to take
Pave
care
it,
of it.
and we do it. They're going to make it so it goes into that drain of DOTs.
I
But
think he
they're only
was,
gonna pave their area, right? They're not paving ours.
no,
Yours.
he's
It's gonna go
paving
towards-
all the way up to that drain, that whole area, to
Well, they know
regrade it
except
so it
when
won't
they
go
just
towards
walk
you.
right way.
And they were working on that. Joe, yeah.
Yes.
And that, he was in 2 weeks ago, and we were looking at that with him.
He is gonna pave the old Route 3 portion of it.
He's going
in
to
front of
pave
his
the town's
market.
portion.
Right.
Visit to the catch basins.
Yes,
But he also said he's gonna paint lines too, right?
yeah,
For parking.
which should
Well, we
help
want to make
a
sure
lot.
it's just not painting ours, because he's claiming, like, this right-of-way is actually 7.5 feet on his, 7.5 feet on ours, and what they've been doing is just taking over our whole lot. They've been taking over all of this, right? And now they're telling people to try to our trees over on this side with skidoos. So we're trying to just put a barrier in and just have a little bit of peace. We offered to do a land swap, which we were giving them twice as much frontage and everything that they were even offering to us. And they just keep wavering and waffling back and forth. It doesn't seem to be moving anywhere. We're nervous with them doing the work and supposedly draining it properly. We don't know if that's going to be the case.
Well, the possibility is if the state doesn't give permission for us to use this catch basin, this could all be drained to this grass area.
Which eventually grades and spills back into our parking lot.
And ruins the front. What it's doing is it's deteriorating the frontage. You can actually see the damage that it's doing. But I guess the biggest thing is we need to talk to the state, because you guys are saying it's out of your hands anyhow,
Yeah, we're not touching those catch basins.
right?
I'll sit down with Lou.
You're going to want
You
to
know,
talk to the
I-
district engineer, Bill Rollins.
Yeah.
Okay.
William Rollins, he's their, well, he's the assistant engineer.
You know,
The director over there will be the head engineer.
546667?
I love that number.
You know, when you have their number memorized, that you have to deal with them a lot. Things,
Just a little bit, huh?
it gets done, it's not real fast.
Well, our
I-
neighbors, the market, I'm glad they're communicating with you. I just don't know how reliable that is. They've said no to our land swap offer 3 times, and, you know, this dance could go on forever. We want to enjoy our property regardless of their interest. You know, their interests don't come before
That's the other thing, they're private schools in the state and all that, they've got property on there, they've got cars on there, and there's just a tremendous amount of, like, people going through our area because of their parking over there.
Right.
So
It's a very difficult
Concerning.
situation, because over the years, people are used to doing it one way, and then somebody else comes in
You're
and buys a
talking
piece of property.
generations, because when the Welchers were
Right.
there,
well, we spoke to the attorney who lived there prior to the Lindaughs, and he said, no, it wasn't, and they didn't have people tying up on both sides. They're tying up private trees on both sides.
I think private property permit just to structure and put this, you know, this new reality in place. I get accused of you know, attacking their business. I'm just, you know, trying to be difficult, do difficult things instead of,
And I could show you the text I sent her the other day, saying, is there any update? And she's like, well, we're not doing it immediately, you need to immediately do yourself. I'm like, I'm not trying to pressure you, Jackie, I'm just trying to find out what's going on. But they always come unhinged, no matter if we say hello. As a matter of fact, Joyce called me last week saying, hey, you want to talk? I'm like, nope, we don't want to come, we don't want to talk to anybody, because if we talk to anybody, we get yelled at. She actually calls me up and screams. It's really tough.
which is
We have to
why-
come into an agreement with them, and that's what we're waiting for. We need to make sure that our end is covered.
Sure.
And so it's a written agreement, so that this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done, this criteria.
For the drainage.
Right. And then, once that is prepared and signed by us, then it will go to them and be signed.
Well,
To the state or to?
No.
what
to
I heard
Montalto's.
is, all you're doing is lowering a manhole, and they're fixing their parking. So there's no drainage.
But they have to sloping it towards the DOT drainage.
Pull up the pavement and regrade and then pave.
Right. And it goes towards the drainage, not to the grass area.
In that project, we make sure that they don't bury the pins, the marker pins for the parking.
But that'll be in the spring, right? Not very the...
that shouldn't be near your marker pins.
No, right, exactly, we agree. We agree.
If throw some paint, spray around them too.
Get your locations
Get out there and
on
circle
them
'em.
now, so that if anything happens where they disturb, you can come back to us.
No, I think they just plan on doing the roof drain. I think they just said, well, asked them about that, and they had said they were doing that, and they had talked to you guys, it was approved. But I think they were saying just up that way, but we're just concerned we don't want them to go down the other way. Because what you're saying is a right of way, there's actually separation, you can see the separation. We don't want that to go away, because they're literally taking it over. And if you look at all the deeds, they are separate, even though Debbie has the right of way over both.
We can't control what they do
I know.
beyond the town's property.
Right.
And 90% of what they use as a parking lot
Yeah.
is the town's property. But there's a strip there that belongs to the municipal market.
Right.
That's really a, kind of a barrier between us and everybody else.
Which one's that?
What they, up front here?
Patient.
So here's our property line as it goes in front of that store.
Right. He built up to the property line or no? Over the property line?
No.
An addition on?
Now, this store's been here for
Did they just put an addition on?
my lifetime.
Did they just put an addition on?
This is,
They did.
this is our
That
boundary.
addition was on years ago, the one on the left side?
One with the chairs, yeah.
The seating area.
They told us they put it in.
I don't think the front of that store's changed from the Dubriel had it.
Well,
But at any rate, this is our boundary right here.
Yeah.
This is our jurisdiction.
But that's like a right-of-way, right? So everybody parks here, but that doesn't bother anyone.
This isn't a right-of-way, the town owns this.
The town owns that, that's a
The
road.
town owns this. They park on the town property,
Got it,
okay? This is their property.
got it.
This
That's
is
it.
that right-of-way.
Right.
However, it's shared. Nothing to do with the town.
Yep.
This is town.
So if the town actually used that
That might be
road, there
why
would be
it's hard for
no
them.
parking really, there'd be limited parking for them.
Yeah.
well, and that takes it to the
So
next.
this, like I said, we have no control what they do here.
It is tight. You guys are just.
This is the only area we control. And it's only going to affect this one pin.
They're parking on the state
Of
right
yours.
away.
It's interesting though, that might be why the right-of-way, I mean, the change doesn't work for them.
Now, if we proceed
This
with
is actually already,
talking to
that piece was already
the
detailed,
state,
this piece right here we're talking about.
they
And I
approve
was saying,
this,
let's
or they
do
don't approve
this
it.
here, that doesn't,
They're gonna come back and say, take all your stuff off the state
I
land.
was thinking, I
Where do
this
their
was all
cars
them, and that would make it really
Just a
easy.
second,
No, this is
it's
ours.
just gonna make it tighter.
You can see the little lawn in front, this used to be the post office. This
Just because I know.
lawn area, there's our boundary line going through it.
So,
This paved parking, 5 cars,
Yeah,
that belongs to the town of Tilton.
wow, so there's no parking over there.
This dirt drive,
But you know what, come here, look at this line, because this is why it's probably not the unit for them. If they only owned to here, and we swapped with them and did something over here, well, that kind of abuts them. Gives them that room.
it gives them a legal reason to park there, and they can continue to pee all over the state right away. And that's ultimately what it will do for them. And you know what? They don't want to do it, so we can't control them. This is about,
No, we'd have to get the cease and desist at the point, that's all. We can control the right away, but
starting to think out loud. You ladies,
well, it becomes, this is,
No, I
the
just
town
wanted to
can't do
see.
anything, it is a civil.
I'm surprised here that I thought that was theirs up until this line right here.
No.
So it's not.
This is
not.
the town.
And they're aware of that.
No.
That's why it's came in.
it was smart, they buy the lot up the street, the next one up, and,
Little post office.
Yeah.
Yep. And make it a parking,
yeah. Yeah.
which would make everything easy.
Yeah,
The
that's
town should buy it. Create a fire lane around the backside.
a lot of money.
It's tough, a lot of
It's
those
a
roads
convoluted
through
area,
there.
isn't it?
Yeah,
That's a very, very old area.
Yeah, but you know what, that's singing.
our deep research is.
It's older than us, put
I
together
see.
probably.
It's older than us.
Saying, Because there's no right-of-way on ours for this area here. There's no right-of-way on our deed. Goes all the way back to 1957.
All right, well, I would
State.
thank you for the guidance. We know our next steps will be back.
No.
We just wanted to.
Well, the other thing is, when they if they get the approval on that, my biggest thing is for winter. So is that something that they're hoping to do for winter, or is it something that's
Originally, yes.
Originally, yes.
for the states and,
We haven't been in touch with them until we get our agreement,
yeah, who's the tree come from?
us,
Oh, you guys have the permit.
with our specifications.
Worst case, he pays and does his thing, and then the state agrees to correcting the catch basins. That could effectively ruin his...
No, because for what he needs to do, he's got to
He
adjust the
He
state.
has to contact the state in order to do that. Those both catch basins.
And he's also planning to lower our sewer manhole, which we don't have issues with.
Which is going to do the same thing. It's effectively going to go
It's,
like that.
yeah, we're bringing it so that you can then send it toward, everything toward that.
They have
Everything's
to
going to get
abide
lowered in the middle and pull it to the drain.
DOT standards on the drainage, and they have to, in order to do that, they have to be in touch with them to make sure that the otherwise we can't do it.
Oh, that furthest catch basin towards...
I think if you call Bill Rollins and he comes out and takes a look at that, you know,
I'll take care of it.
He's a good guy.
He's a really good
He's a
guy.
very good guy.
He'll actually visibly look at that, you know, probably during the rain or whatever, and see what's going on with it.
Make sure you let him know you have spoken with Mike Kimball, that he's aware of.
And you met with us.
Cool.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, nice
Welcome,
meeting you.
thanks for, oops,
We'll be in
sorry,
touch.
Thanks for coming in.
Call us when, okay.
Well, yeah, if anything comes to fruition, would somebody let us know?
Sure.
Okay, we're going across the street to get dinner. You want us to bring you anything?
You guys want to say something? Like so much.
Across the street?
Well, T-Hop, whatever.
Oh, I was gonna say,
I was
okay.
gonna say liquid, please.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right.
So, here's the thing. If the state does not allow us to alter any of their catch basins,
Everybody's in trouble.
well, no, we have to repave eventually. So you're going to repave without using a catch basin, so your only alternative is to send that water to the grassy area.
But it's gotta be a lot higher, but you guys.
But it'd be really hard to...
You'll have to, the
because,
pitch will have to be right, so you're not,
Is that a stone, along the water itself, is that a stone barrier?
Stone and grass.
well, it's,
It's-
yeah, it's
it's loose
stone,
rocks and-
grass, and
Just,
if you, as you go down,
It's actually a stone wall?
well, it's like any,
it's stone.
lake shore that doesn't have a beach. You know, the water's eroded the dirt away and left
Like a
stones and,
cement
you know,
and
people from
grass
years
is
past
poured down
have
into
Cement and
put their
stuff.
bigger, there's not really any cement up in that area.
I did.
There's concrete further down.
You did,
Purposeful.
horrible.
I know.
You're getting used to it now, though,
No,
aren't
I
you?
was trying not to suck into it.
How
But
come
it's
you
just-
didn't?
Yeah. No, I was just saying to Pat and John, if the state says you can't touch our drainage system,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we can't ever pave our road. It means that when we pave, we're gonna have to send it into the grassy area and make the pitches work.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't not pave because they say leave the catch basins alone. Otherwise, we'd end up with Caleb Hill.
Did everyone get the first email that Joyce just sent out?
Mm. 540?
Okay.
Here's the rest of the story.
Okay.
So did everyone get the last email from Joyce? That there was an error in the timeline,
What timeline?
Mr. Burnham?
Well,
Subtract 365 days.
Yeah, see, that's why I kept asking
There was
again
an
and again.
error in the
I asked
timeline
about
that
4 times.
he gave us, or that we've gotten somewhere else?
He gave us. He said May of 2016.
Okay, but we really don't know.
We do. It was purchased in July of 2015, not 2000.
How does she know?
Look at the tax, the tax map lot. It'll show when you change owners, or when you
Well,
refinance.
change owners, but so here's the thing. When did we start taxing it? There is so much conflicting information we have received. It's going to be real hard to put this puzzle again, and right now, I'm not going to take anything as fact. His timeline's wrong, our timeline's wrong, their timeline's wrong. I think we have, the first place to go is the fire district and find out when they were given the occupancy permit.
Yeah, we can go through the whole thing.
Is the occupancy permit? You're looking at the actual tax pass? Oh, it is? I didn't see an attachment.
It's that little square down the bottom.
It's right
I
up
was
there.
looking at the
It's
second
right up there with
portion.
cement.
Thanks, John.
So it is, look at,
On 7/21/15, electrical new service at garage,
What's the address?
1 Sage Drive.
How come there's not a picture of a mobile home?
There is, for the second sheet.
There you go. And what's the date on this? What's the date up there in the corner?
Permits.
Oh, the garage is there too. I see lumber on the picture.
Well, there's a, that's, yeah.
this
so-
is printed 6/18/2016. The date on this is 2015, see right here? The
Okay.
permits, right there.
that-
7/21/15 added the garage.
Is that the garage that came with, it's like, I was up there yesterday, it looks like there's like 2 garages. One might be pre-manufactured and one might be stick-built.
He was complaining about the stick-built one, the water draining into.
Both of them. Comes off the roof and goes in.
So 7/21/15, the electrical, and 4/21/15, the new house, installed slab manufactured home. 7/21/15 was electrical new service add garage.
So that means they were still working on it. We don't know when he actually took possession of it.
Well, the owner.
No,
Oh,
we need to
oh,
get that from the fire department.
He was the owner because he
Certificate of
purchased
occupancy is
it.
the fire department.
Before it even came there, he had purchased it.
And the permits could be from previous owners or whatever. They're just
Yeah,
they carry
so
with the
like I
house.
said, we have a ton of information that we've got to start gathering.
So how are we going to go about gathering the information now? Who's going to do what? We can't all go separate ways and figure out what's actually going to happen.
I'm looking at my list. So he raised an interesting question about pre-manufactured homes. So because they are made somewhere else to federal specs, should they be inspected by the municipalities? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, how
So-
far do you take it?
Okay, so here's my next point on that. Is there some kind of documentation that comes from the manufacturer that verifies, yes, this mobile home was made to federal codes?
Or state.
As
is
of
pat-
this date.
Right.
From the
For the year.
manufacturer,
Yes,
yes.
there should be.
There is, there's a whole sheet.
I don't know, I've never bought a,
Well, that's what I was
Well-
told from Al, that there's a sheet of inspection from the manufacturer.
Okay.
Saying this was done, this was done, this was done, this was done,
We
this
know
was
if the
done.
town gets a copy.
well, then that's the point. So the other interesting point is, So he's got, buys this mobile home
Right,
Double wide.
that is customed.
right.
And then, that's why it was important for me to have him list off all the items that still had to be constructed.
Here.
That should have generated a building permit.
That's correct.
Now, one of the things that they do when they get the double wide, they put them together,
They gotta
they
put them
attach them,
together.
basically do that. They have boxes where they put the light fixture, like in the dining room, and there's a box where they tie the right half to the
Right.
left, and then they do their service. So I don't know if they need an inspection for that, tie the boxes in, but they do need an inspection of the service, right?
Yes. However.
So there should be a-
What he
and
was
that
saying
looks like it's
was,
on.
those floors are custom built, the bathroom,
He said the floor is custom built, but the reason why they're custom built is they don't put the flooring down till after they join it together,
right.
and they seal the floor up, and then they put the flooring down.
Some of them they do, some of them they
Like
don't.
hardwood.
So
Some
we
of
have
them
a
come with the
garage
flooring all in.
that's-
I've
Yeah,
seen
depending
that.
on the design.
So we have a
Yeah.
garage that's stick
Yeah,
built
and stick built.
after, that's assembled here in Tilton, an entire
Cut and
garage.
built, yeah.
And we have a house that's put together, and there are some things that were built here in Tilton, like you can't say renovate, because that's pre-existing, but the house was, they were altered
Well,
and
it's
built.
assembled, because they assemble the two pieces.
But that assembly.
Is that require?
Would that require a permit?
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking when he was
Yeah,
telling us.
that's a good point.
I
And
think
that's
that
the
would-
thing. I would think that at least your service and your sewer line, your plumbing, because you have the stubs, they get connected into the sewer. I would think that that part would be
When
inspected.
you have a new home and they're connecting to sewer, do you go up and be there when they connect to the sewer?
To our line, not coming from there, back to their house is their problem.
Okay. So
They connect to
their
our
problem is
stub.
the road.
Where they
Where-
tie into
Our
come into
road.
the right-of-way and
Got it. All right.
tie into our pipe.
So you wouldn't have any jurisdiction over that.
Right.
But now you have,
The building inspector, the
so we've
whoever
got to
inspects
figure
plumbing.
that piece out. We have to sit down with Dari, and I don't have a problem, either Catherine or I can probably do that, because we're here during the day.
Why don't we gang this that out next week?
Okay, we can do that. We'll sit with them.
Find out exactly what we inspect, what we don't inspect, just to give me a clearer picture
We'll
also.
pick a day that Dari can sit with us, and
Yeah, I'll do
we'll
some,
do some questions, and
I'll do some stuff tomorrow on the phone. I don't think, so as a concrete person, before I was involved in town,
There's a website, New Hampshire Board of Manufactured Housing. There's a New Hampshire Joint Board.
Yep.
So you can start by researching on that. There's RSA 205 statutes for that, so that.
I've,
what's RSA 205?
It's a New Hampshire Board of Manufactured Housing. Regulation of manufactured housing parks, jurisdiction, et cetera, et cetera. That's a start.
I want to know, I don't think that we have control over inspection of a manufactured home once it comes in, because we can't certainly tear down walls and make sure the electrical is done, but we can check a ground fault by a sink so many inches away from the,
I can tell you that I've been, in these pre-manufactured housing, double wides, houses, whatever. Having been there and done concrete work after they're there, before the people come in and walking through, there's actually where they connect together, there's daylight still, I've seen in some of them.
Yeah,
yeah,
basically,
great.
Because they
they
haven't,
come apart quick, too.
they don't go together right, they don't seal them properly.
And then they just bolt them, and sometimes the
Yeah, so
wops, and, yeah.
I can see that there would be some things, especially in a customized home
Assembly part.
like this, that there would be some inspection, but here's the thing. If our code enforcement officer, number one, isn't aware that this mobile home is coming in that's customized, that there's going to be more construction, if nobody's notifying him, how does he
Nobody
know?
pulled the permit.
Nobody pulls a permit, that's right. How does he know?
Is electrical covered by code enforcement or life safety?
It's code enforcement, but
If they don't pull the permit,
Not all, so if I hire somebody to do some electrical work at my house, it isn't necessarily gonna generate the code enforcement officer coming out and inspecting it.
Right.
Because if I'm just having
Depends on what you're
something
doing.
repaired,
Right.
now if it's commercial, that's a different story. Residential, kind of a different ballgame.
I know before you sign off on a house and you approve it and you do all that sort of stuff, right? That's what I can't figure
You
out.
also
I go
have-
through these
you
dates.
do your
the
inspection
occupancy
if you
in-
want it, and as a way to get out, but it sounds like he had no way out.
Once that occupancy, and I think you were on a roll, once that occupancy permit was given by the fire district, he had no standing,
Right.
because they had certified, go ahead, live in it.
It became civil then after that.
But the problem is,
Which may have put.
But
may or
here's the
may not put
problem.
us in that Situation.
because Mr. Burnham doesn't understand that jurisdictional line between the
Right.
district
Right.
here, they enforce life safety codes. He is not enforcing the building codes. And in the state of New Hampshire, those building codes are the international building codes, the plumbing, electrical, there's like, there's a whole plethora of them,
Big book.
well, there are tons of books.
So it's more than just Boca?
There's no such thing as Boca anymore.
Oh, they got rid of Boca?
They pretty much got rid of Boca.
Oh.
That's why I still have an old Boca book.
So if they
But,
never
so-
pulled a permit for it, it
So,
wouldn't trigger an
him not
inspection.
realizing this, he takes possession of a home based just on life safety codes. That's what took place there. Not realizing that in this town, because our fire district is a district, two separate municipalities, and that is confusing to a lot of people. Yeah. But,
We can
so,
check.
I'll see what I can find between now and next week. Just on the basic things, like I was gonna say, I've never found any building codes, like even in Boca for concrete. That's the American Concrete Institute. And
Isn't that the American Cement Institute?
no, our state building code doesn't reference ACI. But that's a small thing. I mean, he made some very big points. All right,
I wish that when he originally came in, he expressed those concerns clearly, what he was looking for. There was a lot of frustration, I think,
I have talked to him a number of times, but this is the first time I really understood that he got caught between that district and town net.
Yep.
I never realized that
I don't think he
before
realized.
what took place, and he didn't either, so.
I think that's what it is. All right, let's move in the right direction here. We have,
Pat, do you want to stay on drainage on Morrison?
Can we wait until we have a director and let him figure it out? It's been this way for years. It can last, what, another week?
I would take, yeah, but can he just go ahead and do something as opposed to doing, because we're facing the end of October, the paving places will be closed, where are they going to get the patch? Or if they have to dig it up.
Pike will be open most likely till Thanksgiving in Northfield. Pike and Brock's and Hooksett should be later. I'm not sure Continental
Anybody
and
take a ride
Concord.
by
Huh?
and look? Because it's pretty clear.
I've seen it several
Can we direct
times.
him
I've seen it
to
several times, too.
make some kind of correction when he gets here?
I think that
I think that would be first
our
on our
first
list.
priority of,
Right. 24th. I really do. I've been up
Just-
there, I've looked at it.
I think he needs
The
to
guys
look
went up and
at-
looked it.
when you first sent it out, I thought it was the house that's
Oh,
further up on the
I know what you
opposite.
mean, yeah.
So there's a lot of drainage problems on that road.
Yeah, the whole road just pitches
It-
one direction
yeah.
all the way down to that one storm drain,
Right.
and it just,
Yeah, so
It just
I think
happened.
he needs to look at it, and I don't know if that's our storm drain.
well, it's in our road, and it's
Well,
meant
so aren't the
to,
ones in
except
Windsor-
That was put in,
to drain that whole road.
that was put in, though, when think he did, I'm not positive.
That's,
When that whole runoff with the Lowe's was coming across.
that was already
the road,
pre-existing, that
That was
one.
pre-existing.
That was,
Yeah,
because there
both
was
of those.
drainage on Morrison that they put.
But they fixed the diameter of the pipe Lowe's had to pay for. We pushed and pushed to make sure that they...
They had to increase it.
Yeah, we got them to foot the bill. I forget
That
the
was
whole...
dumb.
So the 24th, he'll be on, and then, so the 27th, we'll block out an hour and a half or so on that night and to talk with him and
Let's make sure he looks at it before Thursday.
go over, well, we'll talk with him.
You guys email, we can give them a list of stuff to start.
Don't scare away till it gets there.
On the 24th, when we go over and meet the rest of the crew and do all of that, then maybe I'll ask them to come out on the 25th and look at some problems, Manville, Linden, Morrison, a couple of those issues, and then he'll have a sense of, we'll just drive the town together, and then on the 27th, when, block out like an hour and a half for the highway director, and then we've got that time.
I don't remember that.
That's after the
I don't
hour.
remember their name.
Okay, so we have 3 applications for the zoning board.
I saw those. Do you have them now?
I sent him that way.
3.
Oh, I only saw the 2.
Who's your third?
I'm bringing in one.
Oh,
It was given to me at the planning board on Tuesday night, so I'm sorry, I should have made copies. But it's what's his first name?
Oh, Dominic. Sanzano. Nick Sanzano.
Nick Canzano.
He used to be on the planning
He
board.
used to be on the planning board. So we have Christine Coletti, Mary Ann Princiata, who, by the way, is from Atkinson.
I noticed.
Notice that? And Nick Canzano. Do we want to meet with the people, or do you want to just approve them, or what do you want to do?
Kind of in a desperate need, aren't we?
Yep,
Nick would be a good one.
I do too. I also think the other one is on a budget committee, the Princiata.
Yeah.
Used to be on budget and something else, whatever.
Conservation Committee.
On conservation.
That's a good, I like that. I like that.
That's a good
I like having a conservation person on zoning.
zoning. yeah.
Good rounded experience.
Did you look at them?
Yeah, I looked them over.
Nick's is a no-brainer for me. I think.
All right, I'll make a motion to appoint Nick Canzano to the zoning board.
Second.
Adjustment.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to sign this one.
Treasurer, Essex County Deputy Sheriff's Association.
It's up by, the ocean.
Essex,
Is it a 3-year term?
I believe so. Well,
I'll leave it.
leave it blank because,
We're gonna want to do some staggering.
yeah, some of them will fill out people's terms.
Why aren't we just making it 1 year till March, and then they can do the Chinese fire drill as to who wants 3, 2, 1?
They're not elected,
No,
They're
it's
not,
appointed.
oh, they're appointed?
so they'll step into previous blocks of,
This one replaces that one,
this one, yeah.
that block.
So what do you,
Okay.
So Dari will figure out what those terms are gonna be.
so we need motions for those.
Oh, I should be, this is Nick's.
We'll make a motion for the
I
other.
like the backgrounds on.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll make a motion then.
Make a motion to appoint Christine Coletti and Marie Ann Princiata to the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
Second?
A motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can we sign the copy of-
One for you.
We should sign the original.
Do you have the original?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. As long as our names are not copies, so.
It doesn't matter, I have these right here.
Christine sent it by email, so it's not...
Oh, so you're gonna sign those? Then I will stick these over here in your pile so we don't sign those.
They haven't signed.
This is Dominic's. I like that name.
Just saying.
They all appear to be Italian. Yes!
I think we should add a line to all of our board, committee, commission applications that said, are you available for classes pertaining to these boards? Or would you attend
Well,
their
part of it also depends when they have them, because so much of what I see comes through
this day?
is during our JOB times.
Yeah, it's day. They think everybody's retired in this
Yeah.
job.
You know, there's some nights and maybe an occasional
It
weekend.
says this work can require additional education, sidewalks, and research. Is this something you have the time and interest to do?
Does what I was looking for quickly. Very good. Yeah, except maybe they can do sidewalks and research, but they can't do education, because this one says love research. Although we've arranged them in the past here. We had Dan Crean do a couple, and it was in the evening. It was like at 5 o'clock, or, yeah, it was shortly after town hall closed.
Does Region Planning do any of those?
Little bit. They'll have different types of workshops, like right now, there's one
coming
next
up.
week on housing, on,
Well, maybe if we rattle them on stuff we'd like to have, they might add some.
For you?
does this mean we have a zoning board?
No. Can we have a zoning board of 3?
We already have. Did he step out? Dubinsky.
Oh,
Haven't heard back, I don't think.
we don't, do we have an application?
I
Sent letters.
thought we
No, we had an application.
had an application.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Christine's husband.
Yeah. I saw it.
I thought we signed it.
Oh, that's right. I'm pretty sure.
I
Christine
don't know if we
Dubinsky's
signed it,
husband.
I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Make sure Joyce pulls it out, because you would have a quorum with 4. Because I think, isn't that a 5-member board?
Well, you'd have a quorum with 3 then, wouldn't you also?
Yeah, let's see.
Madam Vice Chair,
Couldn't give him the,
you'd still have a quorum with 3 on a 5-member board, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, you would, but they like to have,
I understand, but you've at least got your majority.
yeah, they like to have that
Well, we're not.
buffer in case somebody decides they're gonna have the flu, or, well, not if they have to get sick, or,
We're not done fishing for
no.
interested
But I
parties.
thought, I was pretty sure we had that one pretty sewn up.
all right, do we,
They already done away with any more
Yeah.
orders from Valerie about
yes, that's where I'm going next. All right,
I hope he gave us the old.
yes.
Okay, I specifically asked for
In our
it.
folders in the back, there's a memorandum from the office of the Tilton planner.
There is?
Looks like this. Yep, right
Oh.
there. And then one page back, right there. That's the old.
Oh, I'm not used to things being in there like that.
Very official here. So basically, what he would like to do, he said the zoning ordinance requires that new businesses obtain a certificate of occupancy regardless of whether construction or improvements are associated with the change in occupancy. This requirement provides the benefit of causing the safety inspector and code enforcement to verify the safety and code compliance of a new layout. Presently, the building permit fee structure does not list any fees associated with obtaining a certificate of occupancy. Following a discussion with code enforcement, I've drafted a revision to the fee schedule which would establish the certificates of occupancy obtained in conjunction with improvements shall be issued at no additional cost as the permit fees cover the cost of inspection. When a new occupant enters a building without making any changes, we are proposing that the cost of inspection will be covered through a fee of $50 plus 10 cents per square foot. We seek your approval of this amended fee schedule, a copy of which I have attached to this memorandum. Alan, I encourage you to approach either of us with any questions you may have. Now, the old one, they would be subject to a $300 fine, regardless of, a $300 fee, excuse me, regardless of whether there's any alterations or not. There's no delineation there. And then it would be 20 cents a square foot, which, so any of your stores down here that have retail going in and coming out, and all they're doing is changing paint color, that's really what the purpose is for. So he wants the permit to $50 plus 10 cents per square foot, to add that into it. You see on the, does everyone see where it is? On the bottom of the new one, certificate of occupancy, with improvements included in the permit fee, and then without improvements, it's $50 plus 10 cents a square foot.
So regardless of, so if somebody's going to move into one of the retail spaces, regardless of where it is,
Right,
and they're not going to do anything,
right. It'd be
just change the sign,
$50.
walk in, it'll be $50.
And 10 cents a square foot.
Yeah. If they walk in there and they're going to paint, or
Well, if they're going to
put up shelves and whatnot,
alter it,
well, that's,
Put a
painting
wall
is,
up or-
painting is alteration. It's an alteration, you're changing it.
it's really
But
stretching.
maintenance?
That's really stretching that one.
Maintenance.
I get it.
Okay, it depends on how you look at it.
Right, I get, because
If you walk
you're
into a
changing the
storefront,
space,
yeah, if
right.
you walk into a store and you don't like the color, but the paint is brand, let's say it was just painted last week, you don't like the color and you're gonna change it, that means it's an alteration.
Technically,
I would say you change
would you really want
countertops
to
or
charge
something.
a new business coming into town, because they want to change a paint color?
No, but
What-
it says above it, alteration,
Yeah.
alteration. That's an alteration. Unless you're going to define it, because these things have to be very specific.
Yeah.
You're gonna leave them subjective? So somebody comes, we get a new, heaven forbid, I'll shoot him. We get a new code enforcement officer 2 months from now, and he looks at this and says, "Big, you painted it, that's an alteration." No,
You put new
that's not
switch
50
plates
bucks.
on the
Yeah,
switches.
you don't like the brown switch plates, so you're gonna put white switch plates up.
You altered it.
You altered it.
Yeah, I get it.
See what I'm
Makes
saying?
sense, yeah.
You don't like your, you
It
don't
can't be
like your light
ambiguous.
fixtures of the fans.
What would you use in place of it?
I don't know, but I'm just
Well, we
saying.
should give
Well, on
a
the bottom, he
definition.
says without improvements, $50 plus 10 cents a square foot. With improvements, he uses the word improvements. So, you're,
The
New
same
paint's
thing.
an improvement. If somebody walks in and they don't like the fans and they're gonna change them,
I think there needs
I
to
get
be,
it.
that's or the
definition.
fan blades are too small, they want bigger fans.
I think it's.
That's an improvement. I just don't like things that are subjective, and I don't like people getting caught underneath that subjective wheel.
yeah,
Are we putting ourselves into a situation where we were looking for, very similar a few weeks back?
I would like it to say-
Equipment needs,
I'd like it to say without major improvements. Because I think
Question.
one could argue
We're
very,
backwards on the
Non-cosmetic.
bottom, aren't we?
or non-cosmetic.
With improvements, it's included in the permit fee. Without improvements, you're paying $50
Yes.
plus?
yeah, it's backwards.
Okay.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Yep.
There it is. With improvements, the new oh, no.
No.
It's included in the permit fee up here, which is up here. which would be the $300 plus
Right.
20 cents a square foot, and then, but under here, without any improvements, it's a flat $50 for the certificate of occupancy plus 10 cents a square foot, because you're not doing anything, you're not going in and checking and altering, you're not, he didn't put a wall up with electrical, and you didn't put a new bathroom in or whatever. So with improvements, you're gonna, there's permits and everything.
So if there's no improvements, why isn't it a flat fee? Because I'm not inspecting, it shouldn't matter how big or small it is.
So you're gonna have somebody come in and say, I want a certificate of occupancy, I'm moving into, let's pick on Tanger, I'm moving into the Tanger Outlet Mall, and I'm putting a store in. No, I'm not gonna change anything, I'm not gonna make any improvements. Okay, here's your certificate of occupancy, it doesn't cost you a thing. And
You
you
pick a
find
flat
out
fee.
that there's major.
Then you
So-
fine them.
And, or, so, yeah, I can't think, I'm sorry, I was tired earlier. So they come in and say they're not making any improvements, your code enforcement officer still has to go out there,
Right.
it still generates a trip.
The reason why they went up on the fee structure to begin with was to compensate for the amount of trips that they have to make for the certificate of occupancy, particularly in a business like downtown or Tanger.
Does it cover costs for writing inspection reports?
I'm not gonna go there, but maybe.
Well,
So, I'm with Catherine, I would say without major improvements.
I mean, it's still kind of subjective, but at least it's better. Don't you think?
well, okay, what's major? What's major to you is not necessarily major to me,
I think a
so.
bucket of paint isn't major.
Right.
Changing outlet covers isn't major.
Right. So if you went in and put a wall up, that would be major. If you...
I mean, it's, like I said, it's still subjective, but what else would you suggest?
Go in and the...
Well, if you said something like cosmetic,
Yeah.
Oh. Only cosmetic,
without improvements or only cosmetic improvements. That's your paint, your covers?
New rug.
Can we ask him to get back to us next week on it? And to kind of be more clear?
yeah, we could do that. It could be,
I was on electrical and plumbing permits for repair, so if you put in like a new trap in your sink, you have to get a $50 permit?
Plumber does.
Well, if I do in my own house.
No. But I have one you can come over and do my house for. This,
Well, I already did mine, so I didn't know if I was going to get fined. Put the
This is-
PVC in.
sink. Here's my floor.
I do all my own plumbing. Yeah,
Is that wrong?
I would ask Dari to come up with some language. Gail, can you explain to him what our dilemma is clearly? Ask him to do that.
We'll do a curl.
What do you think? What is your
Yeah.
idea?
This did a full circle.
That or...
Well, you need to.
Or a cost limit, anything over
Oh.
$500 worth of repairs or improvements, and then requires permits, so that gives you enough money to spend on paint or
you
maybe
hear
a
what he
ceiling
said?
tile.
No.
John suggested putting a cost price with it, so anything, what'd you say?
Over like $500 worth for so much per square,
Well, you put in, if...
With
you put in
improvements.
$500, because as soon as you do a new rug, so you go in and that's that's $1,000. So you,
To me, that wouldn't be cosmetic, though. That would be a major.
if you went in and had a dirty rug and you wanted to replace it...
yeah, yeah.
or-
Wash it.
Or if you knew
Seed it.
what business that was prior to you going in, you would want to change it.
Yeah.
But it's still a major
So it would
improvement.
be major. Okay.
But I think John
Okay
is,
with that.
I think John is,
Carpeting is major improvement?
sure, you're replacing the entire floor?
What
I
if they
think,
changed
Replacing the floor, you're replacing the carpeting. The floor's still
Maybe-
staying.
It's the flooring.
Maybe,
I think John has a
Dory
good
could
point with,
figure something out.
more than X amount of dollars, or Anything under, or,
So I gotta buy the cheap paint to
you
stay.
gotta buy cheap paint and cheap
Put
rug.
some water with it.
Yeah, that's it, we'll water it
So
down.
Gail said she could convey that to him and
All right.
see what,
I'll talk to, you say you were gonna talk?
yep, Gail said she could.
All right,
You go, girl.
yep. Talk to me and we'll,
Makes it
figure it out.
easier down the road for him.
All right, he'll come up with
But I
something.
think it's a good idea.
I like that.
So,
I got the payroll.
Did you do that? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't, was passing it around.
we have, the trailer proposals. Do we want to put that on hold for a week?
I would.
Let's wait for Joe.
Okay.
That, and we can get weights and stuff that John was asking for that
Yeah, see how
also.
much they'll, make sure we get, always go something a little bit more rugged than what they're gonna carry, so they're,
What's the deal with, what's the deal now with the sidewalk over here in the front, with the, not the sidewalk, with the state, with their portion of the sidewalk? The cut-in,
After their inspection, I mean, the handicap, ADA ramps,
yes,
their feeling is that they specifically meet ADA standards.
yep.
My conversation with Bill Rollins is we haven't picked any benchmarks. If you look at where the asphalt right now ends at our bottom steps, it's considered a trip hazard because you only have about, I don't know, maybe 3.5 on this side and 4 inches on the other end. So you don't have the 7.5, which is, I think the minimum, the maximum's 8.5. So we definitely have to, I wouldn't raise it to the top of the step like he suggested because. Somebody- You know, that's gonna be.
yeah, I would think you'd
that's
dig
too
it down
much.
to 6, 7
I would
inches.
too. I would dig it
and grade
down
That
and
would
have a
bring it-
proper rise. But, so when you dig that down to get the rise on both of those front entryways, then you have to consider the water that comes out of the alleyway between us and the Tilton Inn, you want
The pitch
somewhat
on
of a
it.
pitch. It doesn't have to be much. And then that's got to connect to now what we've lowered. You know.
R&D got that figured out? It's R&D, right? Because
And
Bill,
I don't think we've talked benchmarks with them.
No?
So this one over here, I think, is more problematic than this one. I think our transitions into them is what's going to be the issue. Because once we lower this, if you stand out there and look, once we lower this to make our steps compliant, now you're going to have to kind of raise it up to match this, which is going to send the water back to us. When it really should send it to that ramp and down into the drain.
Okay.
You don't want to send it to the curb.
So do we have to wait on them to do that, or we?
That's us to pick a benchmark. You know, our agreement we signed with them is that they were going to put them in our sidewalks, we own them, and then they're ours to maintain. Now, they've got some areas out there, especially in the curbing, they really need to fix.
You notice your reveal out here? Or lack thereof?
Black
oh,
rag,
yeah.
it's a joke.
Where'd that come from, you know? I
know?
thought we had a lot.
So, I think we need to get R&D in here, have the, does everybody agree that the benchmark there should be benchmarks for the steps at least?
Yeah, we should,
And start there, and then once they get the asphalt out, and they grade the dirt properly, they know what they've got to work with and see what they got to do.
so can we start?
I think,
Start
Now that
digging
we-
after Halloween?
I
Before.
think we can tell Peter to call them. Give him the information we've discussed about the top of the asphalt sidewalk being,
Like 6, 7 inches below the bottom step.
yeah.
All right, Tim?
Tell them the problem, describe the problem we're having, and
Yep.
then when they get here and get the dirt out, we can, If it's gonna work, it's fine, we'll let Bella Rollins know. If it isn't gonna work, then we'll have them come over and look.
Okay.
What are you doing?
But I think we should move on that sidewalk.
Do it before Halloween, or? Just go ahead and let it rip.
Oh, the
Trick or
kids?
treat.
Trick or treat.
Halloween parade, they want to do a Halloween parade. Oh,
Most of that activity takes place down there,
yes.
so we'll
And we
probably
have the
be
guys
okay.
put the onions and,
Yeah, we could cordon off our
That's right.
parking spaces here if we had to make that sidewalk. And they're gonna close Main Street anyway.
even if it's dirt, but
What about, while we're on the sidewalk, conduit in the sidewalk for electrical?
Yes, I
electrical too,
agree.
where?
Totally
Put
agree.
some conduit down into the, under the sidewalk so that we can electrify for lighting, for Christmas lights or whatever.
On the trees. Now's the time to do it. At least run the conduit, plug it.
What do you think? You think
Yeah.
we can get it done?
So,
How do you get through that?
what highway? It's probably easier to have
R&D.
R&D do it. We supply it and just say, you put that in?
Will you talk to them?
Yeah.
What do you think?
What, the conduit?
Yeah.
I agree. Now,
Do you want to,
Where you're gonna get the foundation.
you're not, well, but we have to talk to public service. Let me do that tomorrow. No, Eversource.
Are you talking just one line of conduit here, or two?
for the 2 trees.
One for each tree.
So it used to be, and I'll talk to Eversource tomorrow. It used to be that you would run your conduit in, and then you'd have these, whatever tower, I'm just gonna call them towers, that would
Yeah.
come up like by the tree that you could plug into. And they would run a line down the telephone pole, or electrical
take
pole,
the-
whoever
Into
owns
the
it,
conduit.
into the conduit. And they would do that for Christmas lighting. So I'll contact them and ask them what they do now.
So it'd have to be from the pole up.
So you want 2 lines of conduit coming from the pole on the corner to the 2 trees?
Why 2 lines?
One, if you have one, you have to have an outlet for that tree and an outlet for that tree out of that one line.
Right, you put a T in it.
So you're gonna put the wire in when you put the conduit in, or how are you gonna splice it without tearing everything up?
I do electrical work at my house. I mean, I can think in my brain of how I do it, but I don't know if it's code.
What's that?
Because you could run a
go
line
from
in
one,
and
you
up,
go
and then you
up
could
to
run
the
a
next
line down and up
Yeah,
to the other one. You'd have to string it first.
Okay, so my next question is, how big a conduit are we talking, 1 inch?
I don't know what code is.
The other thing is,
Schedule 80, I know.
the other thing is, does it come up right next to the tree, and what damage am I gonna do to root structure, trying to bring it up? Is it gonna be away, so now it's a trip hazard if someone walks too close to the tree?
Sucks to be them.
Maybe just get solar lights.
So I can tell you right now, solar one's
I
about
think
it.
it's now the time to at least put the conduit in. We're not
I think if you,
wasting a lot of money, just put conduit in.
You don't have to use it.
Right.
those things are usually,
And they don't run them into the building here?
like this.
2.5 inch.
Well, that's the way they used to do it. I may find out by tomorrow that they don't have that program anymore, and we may not want to bother with out front and just deal with solar.
Right.
And then on Main Street, have enough time to plan it.
All right, we're about 15 minutes behind on, so you're going to check with Eversource.
I'll check with
I'm going
Eversource.
to check with R&D if, if they could, we'll get the layout for them. Great. All right.
Okay, so I have just a few things before we get into the budget. First of all, we heard back from Casella. Joyce heard back from them the other day, and she asked me to cover this with the board. They are willing to preserve their pricing for the town, and they feel as though, based on the history that they've seen with our solid waste and recycling, they can do it for what they originally quoted. And they have, the only thing is that they would still require the waivers. So, which Joyce said that she would be willing to work on with them. She wants to see the town send out something also that's, that is more informative about what you can recycle and that sort of thing as well. So she's planning to do some outreach to citizens anyway in that area. And I sort of feel too that if there's a possibility of crafting the waiver in such a way that it's more encompassing than just, well, two things about the waiver. One is that maybe if it can go beyond Casella, we won't have to go out and get another set of waivers if we decide to have our own town trucks at some point, or to use a...
We've never done waivers. Catherine and I disagree in my neighborhood. My road, when we bought the place and had a lawyer research, he was of the opinion that Albert LaRanger retained ownership of the road and the beach area, but gave rights of passage, or right-of-way. So I can't say, yes, you can go on that road, because I have no control. I am able to go myself, but I can't say you can go.
Well, and, and I know there are things that still have to be resolved with that. This is what they're asking for. But I felt the other thing with the waivers, if I just finish that one piece, is that if they would agree that if a majority of people that own the road approve of them going down the road, and maybe that would...
But if I don't have any ownership to that road, how can I give permission? That's...
I don't know. Yeah.
So the whole thing with the private road thing is, they're not going to do that.
They're not going to...
No, the waivers.
On the waiver.
So if we go with Casella, we may have some people who live on private roads that are going to have to bring their garbage down to the end of the road.
Well,
If we don't have waivers, that's what's going to happen.
And
with that...
Well, we could go with the other guys.
Big pile.
Well, that's my next thing.
For instance, Manville
You still
Road.
have that offer.
When you have Ruby and Andrew Road coming in,
Oh, you have tons
you're
of
going to
them.
have this mound of garbage.
Well, and the other thing you can let them know is that'll be great, because most of us will just get fed up of moving that recycle bin quarter mile. We'll just put it all into garbage.
Yeah, it's, well, this is, I'm just passing along what we got back from them. I get the impression from them that, they're not going to be unreasonable about this, but they want waivers.
Can we do something else? Can we look at, with our recycle cost, find out what our tonnage has been, and what it would have cost us if we had done it through the NHRRA, whatever, and paid the $53 a ton? If that would have been cheaper than, because we pay almost the same price for recycle as solid waste, but it's only done half the time. That's telling me half that truck cost is covering what they have to pay for the recycle.
I think our contract cost is about 78%. The recycling contract is about 78% of what the solid waste contract is.
But I'd like to see, is it in our interest to keep doing it that way, or do we pay whatever the fee per ton is on the recyclables?
I don't follow you.
Well, if they're making out like a bandit because we're paying a premium for the curbside recycling because we're not paying $53 a ton or whatever the rate is that like Franklin pays when they take it over there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, in their contract cost, it incorporates the cost per ton of disposal. So they have the risk, they also get the...
Yes, they've got two things buried into one. I want to separate out to see, is this method with the burying it in cost effective to us, or would it have been cheaper to have paid whatever the fee per ton is to get rid of it?
But how would we get rid of it? Would you still have a curbside?
If you still did curbside, you can still take it to Casella. They're going to take it. It's just you're paying.
I see. So the cost of the tons is about, with NRRA, off the top of my head, is about $30,000, the disposal portion.
Based on our tonnage?
Based on
I got to
our
look at what
tonnage
the...
for
I'm thinking of the 600 ton that we did the first year of recycling. So, but I can, now that I know what you're looking for, I can get you those figures, and I can email that out, and we'll have it, better numbers to work with. And if it's not, if it's something, in case I misunderstood you,
Well,
just let me know.
the other thing may be is
Not at
just
all.
do a voluntary recycle at highway, and yeah, the tonnage will go up some, but is the net effect cheaper to the town?
Yeah.
If you just do solid, if you do
Yes.
solid,
Oh, absolutely. The cost is in the curbside collection. There's no question. Yep.
well, so if that's the case, then do we open up and say we're just gonna do solid waste curbside? Knowing that that's gonna go up, but the savings on not having to run a recycle truck will more than make up for it. The people that still wanna recycle can still do it at highway.
We abandoned it, but we had a very plausible offer from Lakes Region Disposal to do our curbside, which would be less money, not significantly less, but less money.
Well, I'm just passing along this information.
So,
You can consider,
How
how...
much time do we have to consider?
There was no time set on it. I think they're just going to continue on for the time being. I think I don't think they'll want to go past the end of the year, the way we're going now. They're going to want some resolution to this, I think.
have you studied the offer from Lakes Region Disposal?
Not recently. I looked at it before, and as you said, the savings, there was some savings.
They also weren't seeking waivers.
I'll tell you,
I know.
in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, do you think that if we could, I'd like Joe to weigh in on this, so,
Of course,
I
yeah.
think that would be fitting for him to be here next week if we could.
Sure, yeah, Joyce just wanted me to apprise you of it.
Okay.
and let you-
Somebody should make contact with Kevin Kenny and see if this is still a viable offer, because I
See the
knew
one that was gonna
Yes.
start up?
he needed to,
Yes.
It is.
it is.
It is still viable? Okay.
If I'm gonna sign a contract with somebody, I think
I think we should, it behoove us to kind of get this done
I'd rather do it
in
cheaper.
about a month. Within a month.
I'm not gonna know until we move on it, and it's new, and it's a new company, so you don't really have a history. You have some history. So you really have to weigh out pros and cons on this one, and I think it's gonna take more than next week. We have to sit down in a meeting with Tim, Joyce, and the five of us, and
Well, let's do it.
where we gotta go. I think it just has to be a meeting by itself and just on,
Let's schedule it and get her done.
all right,
Yeah, and the other thing too is, we have the new public works director starting soon. I don't know if he has any experience with garbage collection or,
Put that on his list.
Well, I don't know.
I doubt it.
It was discussed before, so.
He's got a lot of
But
stuff.
in any case, all right, so that's Casella. The tax rate setting, I talked to DRA today, and they're just behind. So they are working on the approval of RMS 434 and 535, which she thought would be next week. So once those are done, it's really, it's just a scheduling thing. It's an imminent, that we'll be able to set the tax rate. Right now, if I'm correct in the MS1 values that I use, we're looking at about a 63-cent increase.
Can't believe you said that out loud. It's a possibility.
It's a possibility. It's a very preliminary, unknown, uncertain figure. But we have what I can say is we do have a $741,000 fund balance. Last year, we used $240,000 of fund balance to buy down the rate. And so there is some room there. But if we were to use an appropriate amount to buy down the rate.
Do you have, off the top of your head, is it payroll mostly?
No, well, some, but also the warrant articles, the new items that we added last year. There's a number of things, number of factors. Payroll is certainly certainly a large part of it. Now, we're hoping to come in under budget. So by doing that, as long as we can maintain control at the end of this year and not, let people come in and request things that, because they think.
Then we need to let them know.
Oh, I have.
No.
I have. Yeah, I
The
have.
Board
I've
of
told
Selectmen
every
needs to let them know that we will not be entertaining,
Yeah,
Encumbrances.
I've told every department head, no encumbrances.
I was going to say
Don't-
wish lists.
Just don't do it, and there've been a lot of requests that have come through, and there's some real problems. I mean, they're having trouble right now coming up with detail cars.
I'd like
We had a
to talk about
Northfield car down at the gas work today, instead of a Tilton car. And yet, I half would say, boy, if it was, $500 or $600 to throw a light bar on top of the town car that sits in the parking lot and put something on the side of
Okay,
it.
but that parking lot car could go down to the SRO at the school.
I think the purpose of having the marked car down there was to show police presence and to be a clear police presence. And they pay.
Put stickers on it.
They pay $1,500 a year for that vehicle being there. So.
But we also
in a
have a
sense-
clause in there that says it may not be there every day.
Put a blue light on top of the blue bomb.
Yeah.
So in any event,
Get an inflatable.
so we and I
have light
didn't
bars
mean to
that
get
fit
too
it.
far off track, but if we're able to come in under budget, that means that we'll have more money available to use to buy down the rate, and it won't impact our fund balance as much.
We need
So
to
we can
try
return that
to,
money to the taxpayers, is what I'm saying.
I mean, we have warrant articles for our reserve funds that are given, highway, blah, 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 blah. Knowing that, it would be nice to set our budget so that we don't have any more than whatever the increase in the wages
Right.
would generate for an increase in tax for next year. I think we could do that.
I don't think we can.
It's a nice concept. It's hard to implement.
Well, we've done some things with hiring that's not going to help.
Right.
That's why I said wages.
Right, yeah. So, and I have,
It is a good concept.
I've got it is a good concept. I have a preliminary view here, and for that matter, if there are other areas that really require equipment from time to time, either whether it's IT or something else, we can create small capital reserve funds and put a small amount in each year so that you can get more to that.
We should create a capital reserve for IT.
Well, or.
You have a copier down there that we bought secondhand that, you know,
They're doing fine.
for now it is, yes, it does do a great job.
And the one that they said was dead that I have at the PD is doing a great job too.
But it could be 4 years from now, we could be looking at buying.
Right.
And you hit us hard.
But in our service contract, it does cover maintenance and repair until they can't source parts for it anymore, so. And I really push that. So we're only
Good.
paying $120 a quarter for the one at the PD right now, which is really,
That's nice.
it's not a lot.
No, that's not a lot, that's nice.
We
Okay.
pay $150 for the one here. All right, so in any event, I just want to apprise you, we're coming very close to tax rate setting. The 2015 audit, you may have seen the email today, that's the final version of it. They have to wait until all the letters are back from the attorneys so that they see that there's no liability, other pending action or something that would be an adverse thing. So anyway, that was good. And then budget status. So we are down right now. If you go to this budget packet I put together for you, and I marked it preliminary because it is highly preliminary, mainly because one of the big warrant articles that's going to be on the warrant this year will be for the collective bargaining agreement, based on the negotiations. So in this budget, there are no increases for the union in the second half of the year. So this is as if, well,
Could you show that, though, because we know there will be?
but we don't know.
We don't know what it's
We don't
gonna
know
be.
what they would be.
We could estimate.
We can't.
Well, we
because-
wouldn't want to tip our hand.
Exactly. It's negotiation.
What, 1%?
No. No, because it might be zero.
Okay.
So any event,
Except, wait a minute, isn't this for the selectmen's eyes only?
you're the only ones that have it.
And no one else should have it?
No.
Because it's,
Highly preliminary.
I've seen these things go out and they go, whoa, I saw the budget when it first came out. No, you didn't.
So, going to the first page, so you can see our 2016 versus 2017 view. So we're down primarily because we don't have any Riverfront Park cleanup or construction debt anymore. So that resulted in a $58,000 savings. Also, we had half a year of the Northern Shores Road last year. That's no longer budgeted. So now our only debt is USDA and Business Park Drive, and Business Park Drive will be going off in 2018. The other savings that we had in the police department was because of the personnel changes that we made through attrition and adding, and primarily health insurance, where we had more people opting for the buyouts. But again, keep in mind that that does not include the second half increase. It does include wages for the entire year, but just not the second half increase and the associated costs of that. So if you were to go to page 2, I just at a very high level outlined some of these things. We also had savings in insurance through Primex. Saved some money there, but we're also having to do more work. I ended up with some additional reporting that I didn't have to do with LGC that I now have to do quarterly for unemployment reporting. So some shifts of things, but that's fine. The town clerk tax collector, which when we get to the town clerk tax collector budget, has requested an increase in salary. The debt I mentioned, in IT, we're looking at primarily additional software licenses and software upgrades.
Shouldn't that be the second one down, the percentage?
That looks wrong, yes. Yeah, it's
Well,
wrong.
I'm like, oh,
Well,
wow, that's nice.
That's not the salary line, that's the overall budget
Okay.
for the town clerk tax collector.
Okay.
So you'll see, it's about 10 times that.
So I saw it. Should it be just the opposite there?
Yeah, what you're looking at is the department change, the total department bottom line change from year to year.
Yeah,
So
I
this is
got
what
it.
adds up to the
All right.
31,000. So in any event, the software licenses, and the reason for this, I'm not going to go into great detail with IT, but because we have more people in the PD during the day shift, we're constantly running out of licenses. So it's a real
How many
problem.
licenses do we have?
We have 13.
And you have more than 13 people using the computer at the exact same time?
We do, using IMC, because they're logging in from the cars, they're logging in from the school.
Are they not logging out?
Less so. These are true, because that's an issue that, for the chief and me. And when I find somebody that is not working that day, that's logged in, I make a real point of making sure that they understand they can't do that again, and alert the chief to it as well. So, but no, these are honest to goodness.
I don't see how 13.
13 people can be using the computer at the exact
Well,
same time?
it's not.
In the cars.
It's just IMC.
You only have, oh, wait a minute, I
It's-
forgot
it's-
the supervisor.
It's their police software. It's not the server, it's not other things, it's IMC. So the other component
I can only
is,
come up with 9.
I'll be happy to give you guys a look at that, but we frequently run out of licenses. So in any event, the other piece of that is for court documents. All the officers need to have an Adobe license that are using this one particular court requires. So in any event, moving down, land use, you're aware of the change there, the promotion. And in the police, we had the attrition of one of the supervisors and a hire of the attorney prosecutor. Public Works, the changes in personnel, we're actually adding a full-time person to the head count in Public Works, But when we get to that budget, you'll see there's a great reduction in part-time wages for the Public Works and some other things too. Plus the fact that we don't have the Parks Commission budget yet, which I haven't gotten to, but because we don't have that budget, I would hope that with the new crew that we have and the new Public Works Director, that we'd be able to do more of the park maintenance.
So it's a 30% decrease.
No more
in the
than we did
budget.
this year.
Well, Riverfront, well, I would hope that at some point we could offset the $16,000 we paid for Riverfront Park mowing.
I don't see it happening.
Well,
I hope it would,
I,
because if you get rid of the landscaper to do the mowing, who's going to do the weeding?
well, and I
Who's
guess
doing the
that's
weeding now?
That's been an issue anyway, right?
Well, let's put it this way, they're at least doing some.
Right.
When we had Public Works doing it, they were doing none.
Wait, 16,000 for somebody to weed the gardens for the
Well, that's
summer?
not just Riverfront Park.
Well, anyway.
Do it.
All I'm trying to point out is that there's no change to the Park Commission budget here, so that's still budgeting for the vendor to do the mowing. They haven't submitted a budget yet, and I don't think they've met to talk about it at this point, but anyway, the other things are pretty minor. So if you want, we could go right to, if you like to go right to the town clerk tax collector, which you're going to find.
Tim, when we do the ITs, can we break that down into?
Yeah, I have a much more detailed,
Yeah, so
of all
we've
the
got-
hardware, all the software, I have
Yeah,
it all.
which department
Yeah,
it's going to?
In fact, you're going to see, if you were to go under Selectmen's dashboard and go into budget and then 2017 budget, you'll see not only all the supporting documentation there, but also the IT breakdown. And
Okay, it's in there.
I've got all the hardware, all the software, all the services. I have everything listed out. This is just a very preliminary view. And I've sat down with all the department heads and gone through the lines. The one that obviously will be, probably want to have some impact or some input to this will be the new Public Works Director when he starts. And possibly our mechanic looking at, the parts lines and things like that, once he's got a better handle on what he's dealing with. So the town clerk tax collector had put in for a 5% increase, which brings her to just over 60,000. Other than that,
What was it last year?
it
Was that
was,
5% too?
oh, the percentage?
Pat, do you remember what the town clerk tax
Well, it's right
collector
here.
percentage
It went
raise was
from
for last year?
55 to 57,200.
Yeah, well, it was 14, but then they,
Yeah,
It went from 55 to 57,200. What's that?
so 2,200.
sorry, I just had a situation we had to deal with.
4%.
So 4% last year, 5% this year.
See,
And I think
across
it
the
was
street.
about the same the year
Over here.
before.
But they were parked here last night.
That's wrong. What did it come out to?
4%.
Yeah, that's what I was...
Last year was 4%.
Remind me about that. But anyway, 4%, yeah. The request was higher than that, and it was...
Yes, it was.
4%. And also on the first page, we received the Lakes Region Mutual Fire budget, so that's the very last line of the administration budget. And you'll also note, the lines above that, the 3 lines above that, and I'll have to make this print larger for you all. But we saw quite a bit of savings going to Primex, as you can see.
Let's not spend it.
Can I ask a question here? And not, I'm sorry I got waylaid, but reappraisal of property, it's always kind of been an interesting questioning to me, because I know it's like throwing a dart, but look at the last couple of years, and why are we keeping it that way?
So we spent $91,900 in 2014?
Well, because, I think because we're going out to bid, Joyce was concerned that you know, just depending upon how the bids come in, you know, she doesn't know whether they're going to be high, low, what we're going to be dealing with at all. And also, we have an arrangement right now with our current vendor where we do a certain amount of the work and they do a certain amount of the work. So if someone else is doing all the work or requires all the work being done by them, it could be.
Okay.
What was the percentage of increase used on the other employees?
2.5. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, no, last
Actually,
year.
you-
Last year is 2.5.
Oh, so based on this, are we still going with 2.5?
No, as a matter of fact, in here for planning, just planning purposes, preliminary planning purposes. 3%.
What? The cost of living hasn't gone up more than 1% in the past 3 years.
It's just
I was
a
going to say,
planning-
can we get down to
That's
2%?
ridiculous.
Just a planning.
1.5.
Planning purpose.
Pretend you're an elected official.
Everybody's new, they're all starting in with the wage adjustment.
Well, no, I think,
3%?
well, if you look at a true merit, you might have some that are going to be less, you might have some that are going to be more.
Right.
So, but, I mean, we didn't.
Okay,
spend
but
it
if we
this
look at
year.
a true merit and we set that rate at 1.5% or 1.75, then some might get
Right,
2% and some might get
that's correct.
0.50%.
The reason,
Half a percent.
and this was my doing, it was just pure, you know, dart on a board, but the reason I did that was because it seemed as though the job market was getting tighter and we were having more difficulty finding people in certain areas. Now, maybe you don't feel that way now, but it seemed that way at the time when I was putting some things together, and in talks with Joyce, it seemed as though what we wanted to hire people at wasn't where we were hiring them. We were having to pay more to get them in. So by the same token, you don't want to have attrition necessarily because, you know, for the same reason.
We gotta look at what the, you
But
know, when
that's-
the whole overall budget, we have to look at
Yeah, it's-
what we have for our residents and what they're receiving for incomes, what they've got for wages.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more people retiring without any type of stability.
And it's just one number we
Who knows
plug in.
what's gonna
and
happen after November?
One number we plug in and it'll flow through all those, so, so in any event, if I could direct your attention, let's see, borrowing costs and finance, we're looking at higher costs, so I increased that some. I've got notes in each one of these for you, but, and it's just a very high-level take on this. You're going to get an opportunity to sit down with the department heads and go through this. You know, there's some question about the building inspector's hours. He sometimes works, you know, much greater hours than what we have budgeted, but he also drives a significant amount of revenue. So he's bringing in more revenue than what he costs right now. So it's just hard to tell. So basically, his hours are based on our economic activity. So if he's getting paid more than what we budgeted, that means that we're getting more revenue as well. In Health and Human Services, I have to check Heather's figure. I think I have to check that 2016 figure. That doesn't look right to me. She wanted to up her general assistance line. So, and that may be a mistake on the 2016 figure of her general assistance. But she talked about increasing that by about $5,000.
The 35?
I have to check to see, does someone have my
Yep.
September report? Thank you. I can tell you real quick.
We are what, 3/4 through the year?
No, it's 35,000 is what she had. And now yeah, it is, that's the correct number for 2016. And I do remember, now that I think about it, having a discussion with her whether, because we're 3/4, in fact, you reminded me because I said the same thing, we're 3/4 of the way through the year and we haven't spent, barely half of it.
But the bulk of it comes in for now with fuel assistance.
But you look at last year's,
Yeah,
what they spent the year before.
but the bulk of her spending.
Okay, but you
is
look
on
at what we spent last year, total was 11,864.
Yeah, and also in
And we
14.
passed it this year.
14, we spent 16,470. I mean, it's one of those things you don't know.
You don't know.
But if you look past at the history, which is why you'll see we've been lowering it consistently.
Right, so I think I convinced her in the end to leave it at 35 if I remember correctly. So in the Public Works Department, so this is where there's some big changes. So you can see we've budgeted the new Public Works Director's salary. And then in the cruise wages, you see there's a big increase from 15 to 16, or 16 to 17 rather, and that's due to the change in headcount. And if you were to go down to where part-time wages are, where we budgeted some 19,000 last year, we've got 5,000.
Does that offset it? Let's get the numbers.
18,600.
5,000.
It gets pretty close to it.
So, and then of course, there's some other lines that generate off of, what type of health insurance someone has and that sort of thing. But we do have some advantageous plans down there, so we do have a buyout in the Public Works group, which is good. And we have someone electing SOS plan, which is also good. So, and then for the other new hires that we don't know what they're going to elect, we've budgeted full family plans, the highest rate. So if it comes in less than that, we'll be doing better. Other than that, pretty much everything else, and Peter and I had reviewed this, a few weeks ago, and everything else is pretty much the same. The curbside contracts, now that I have to go back and look again at their pricing, because when I did this, I didn't have the Casella assurance that they were going to keep their new pricing. So I have to take another look at that. But otherwise, subcontractors, that was lowered some. In the Warren article, there's $9,000 additional in the Warren article for sidewalks again, not knowing whether the board wants to continue that.
Well, who knows about the amount, but continue the
Right.
reserve.
And other than that, that's pretty much it for a highway. Police, so the items in the police budget, I discussed some about the cruise wages, the attrition of the supervisor, the hire of the attorney prosecutor, and how that changed things. So the budget is up some for officers' wages. I went through this with the chief. Based on how he sees his patrol group, he thinks that he is going to spend less in overtime next year. And outside of that, really the more major things were down in equipment purchases. Also, weapons expense, I'm expecting them to increase that, or they're going to be coming to you and asking to overspend it this year. And they need a lot more bullets, apparently. So.
But I thought the new guns were supposed to be so much less expensive for bullets.
But they're firing more, John.
Well, they have to do they ran through the $4,600 of I think we spent $4,600 at the end of last year on ammunition, and they're working through that, and they need to order more. And what I was told was that, that they've never they've never budgeted an adequate amount of money for ammunition so that they could properly do their training. So.
But yet they've gotten by. They've done their training and they've gotten by.
So, I'm just passing this along. This is one of
I think
these
we need
areas
to
that I
know
really
exactly
question
how many
because
it takes to
I personally
train.
don't know enough. I don't know whether
Which
they
is
could-
more expensive, hollow points or full metal jackets?
Full metal jackets,
Are more expensive?
I think so. yeah.
So I don't know
Oh,
if they
which-
can
I
use
don't
a
know.
different type of ammunition, a cheaper type.
On the
for
range, I
training.
believe they can use a cheaper type than when they're on duty.
They're certainly not going through ammunition on duty.
No.
No. Right.
So this is all being shot at the range.
And
There've
So
been no
we're-
car deer
we're-
accidents.
So we're gonna spend,
Have trouble dispatching the deer.
I got the impression they're going to look to increase that to about 4,000 or better a year, so,
for shooting
ammunition.
bullets at the range.
They also have to qualify with rifles, they have to qualify,
I get that, but
But it was supposed to be like 30% less for the new
Yes.
guns, for the
Yep.
ammunition, and now we've gone up by the 30%, and we're gonna go up another percent.
well, and what I was told.
I agree with you.
And that's it's a very
I
valid
think it's
question.
personal target shooting.
So I don't know enough about it myself personally to ask the right questions, but the chief would probably be the one to really.
Plus,
know,
don't forget
examine
the expense of the pistol range, which is $1,000.
For total, for all of them for the year.
Well, they-
They've only spent 156.
Yeah, they were able to use a range, what was that range?
The Franklin?
Belmont.
And there was another one up north, Bristol maybe. They were able
Oh,
to
so we're
use,
traveling to Bristol?
maybe it wasn't Bristol,
Oh.
but there was a range where they
Don't
were
tell
able to
me
go
anymore.
that didn't cost them
How much you
anything.
want us at,
I don't know.
over in Holderness?
Oh, that's even worse.
But we pay, at the Belmont range, we pay per use. So it's not very expensive for each individual use, but they pay per use. when they're using that.
Do they invoice us on that?
The firing range?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely do, yeah. So in the equipment purchases, all right, so
Uh-oh.
what we have here is three things, really. We have a payment for a 2018 vehicle. We have the LiDAR, which is the laser radar, and we have some tire deflation devices that we feel they need to have, that we don't currently have. So,
Let's run
determined
people
that
off the
they're
road.
unsafe.
Yeah, they're very unsafe.
the LiDAR and the tire deflation were 2,350, I think I have it in here, 2,350 combined. I think the radar is about 1,300. That's the last radar gun we purchased. So that would mean roughly $1,000 for the tire deflation.
Didn't we determine that they were unsafe? No, we didn't want them
There's
to do it?
statistics out there that they're very unsafe, because when if
Because-
you're going 50 miles an hour and all of a sudden your tire deflates,
Somebody has to roll it out in front of them, somebody swerves. and- I don't think we want that type of chases.
So,
We'll have to, we'll talk about it.
let's use the old,
You got enough ammo, just shoot them out.
Yeah, that's why the...
howitzers. Let's get a tank.
Just don't fix the sewer leaks.
Let's get a tank.
are we in non-public?
Let's get a tank.
No, we are in public.
So
They're laughing with
we
us.
used to have a pseudo tank. So anyway, the 28 it used to be in Business Park Drive.
did, it was cool.
So the 17A, the car that we're taking delivery of hopefully tomorrow, and the 15A will be paid for out of, are projected to be paid for out of the detail fund. So the part of that 19,000 that's in the equipment purchase line would be for the 2018 payment, a payment towards the 2018 car, a new car for 2018. I should say,
Next year is
2018 delivered-
2017, so
Well,
how did we all of a sudden get to 18
Because I'm
in our
projecting.
budget?
Let's get a leftover
You get
model.
it?
We got a
By September.
17 and 16, we'll probably get an 18 and 17, so I can change that to 17 if you like. It's just that
No, the
we
mod-
currently
We
are
don't budget
getting
for
our
18
17.
purchases, that's just what I'm saying.
Well,
Other
Wait,
people
wait,
wouldn't
wait
understand
till the year
that.
the 18s come out.
Well,
I know,
right.
but people wouldn't understand that.
But, well, it's
Yeah, I
to
know
prevent,
what you mean.
Let's get a used one, they're cheaper.
if it helps
Get a
you,
Prius.
On for that.
if it helps, this was to prevent confusion because we have a 17.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to distinguish between the new car and the existing car
Oh,
we're
here
delivering.
we go.
So,
I don't know if we want to approve those checks, we may need that money.
So having said that, there are some, several entities that we haven't heard from. There's the Park Cemetery. I have to check again. I thought we had Lakes Region Planning, but I couldn't verify.
Have they all gotten their deadline letters?
I believe so. Birch Hill Kennels for animal control, I haven't seen that yet. So Joyce may have some of these or be working on them. Also Conservation Commission, Park Commission, Sewer Commission, we don't have any of those figures yet. So,
What?
Yeah, isn't that an awful one?
so when you go to, if you turn the page and go to the Police Department wages,
Oh, yeah.
this is on page, what is that, page 8. So here are all the wages. I also have, in the spreadsheet, if you were to look online, you'll see all the health insurance stuff that's in the middle between the taxes and the salary information. But in any event, here you can see, particularly for the officers, what their January to June rate was, and you'll see that all their July through December rates are the same, just denoting the fact that there's going to be a warrant article that will address those. Outside of that, the overtime, other things that were budgeted elsewhere, they're all calculated here, and these all feed into the figures for taxes, retirement, and that sort of thing. Retirement did go up from 2638 to 2943 for Group 2 retirement.
How about the other groups?
Group 1 went from, in fact, it's on the next page, went to 11, Group 1 didn't go up that much, from 1117 to 1138, so it was a slight increase there.
Thanks, Maggie.
What's that?
Thanks, Maggie. 'Cause
So, anyway, you can peruse these wages. I did update the Public Works wages to reflect the change that you made, or the offer you made earlier tonight.
Good.
So that's in here, that's in this budget. And, so that pretty much is everything. You'll note that on one of the Public Works employees that started this year, that the wage is actually budgeted higher, anticipating that the board may take some action after a probationary period. So that was what Joyce seemed to indicate to me. So that's it in a nutshell. So we're down 31,000, and there are other opportunities to and I think we'll be seeing some changes. I think you'll see a request for weapons to go up. I will be more than happy to change the merit if the board gives me a number to plug in there. And that might offset that as well.
I'd have to look at what where our wages stand with other municipalities for those same positions. And the COLA hasn't gone up in
3 years?
it's been hovering about, 1.5?
No,
1.4?
no, it's 0 last year. Was it
Was it
0?
zero?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Was it zero?
If you look at Social
And
Security,
before that was like 1.2.
for Social Security, yeah, that's usually what I look at, yeah. So,
Because the cost of living is based on city.
No,
Well-
here too.
well, but the thing is, what I think you have to what I would recommend the board looks at is do you consider this a cost of living increase, or do you consider this, you've done a great job, you deserve an increase because your performance of your job was outstanding?
But the
But we
cost of
report to the
living index
taxpayers.
is based,
And
is based on the
people can't
overall
pay.
cost of the economy, how it's affecting us,
Right, no,
theoretically.
I'm not advocating one way or the other. I'm just saying that if you call it a merit, employees think of a merit as one thing. A cost of living, they think of it as something else. That's more geared to the economy. A merit is more geared to merit. Indicates that it's their performance that merits the difference in pay, whereas a cost of living is really based on what is the economy doing, what was...
That's right, that's
Yeah.
how, and that's for me, I need to know that information on the economy before I start determining what I'm gonna give up for a merit raise, because this economy out here is what generates all the wages for those people who pay in their taxes.
Yeah, I guess all I'm trying to do
So let's
is...
not give them the hit.
Well, I know some employees look at it as though you call it a merit, but you
Well, we'll
treat it
keep
like
calling
cost
it a
of living.
merit, but
So,
It's a combination.
right, I mean, you have to take all factors into account, no question.
Yeah, right, because it really shouldn't be called a merit.
I think that would be wise to change. Yeah.
our raises are based on the merit of our employees. It's not an automatic step raise. It's based on their performance. So do we call it a performance raise? What's the difference? Merit is the same thing.
But the pool it comes from is based on facts which include the cost of living. And what the wages are doing, I mean...
What can people afford to pay out in their tax rate?
No,
You know?
I agree. No, I agree with you, yeah.
It's tough. People in the private sector are getting really nailed with health insurance bills, much more than
Well, we have yet to
we
see
imagine.
what our
Oh, November.
insurance...
See, all that information for me is what helps me decide
they've raised
what's the
minimum
percentage of our
wages.
merit raise.
So what
got
number
plans
would you
shows-
need to plug in? 2? 1.5?
No, I would just do the same as last.
Same as last year,
2.5?
for now.
2.5, okay.
I'd say 2.
I don't want to increase it. And I don't want to decrease it, because I might want to decrease it more.
We'll discuss it when all five of us.
Yeah. Get the numbers
Just for the
together.
purposes of...
Right, exactly.
If you go in and look at it, then I'll change it to 2.5, and you'll see, based on what it was last year, what it looks like this year. But again, historically, that pool hasn't been paid out either in full, anyway, so, and, whatever doesn't, can always be paid back to the taxpayers too. Other than that, that's pretty much, that's pretty much how we're looking right now, so, there's some areas that I've got to collect and really sit down with Joyce and try to get these figures from other groups. But if there are no other questions for me, that's really all I have.
I do have one question.
Oh, yes.
Not on the budget, because I think you did a great job. The manifest.
Yes.
We have repairs to a lot of cruisers.
Yes.
And there's one in here for $1,000, over $1,000 for a catalytic converter for the 3B. Nobody's approved that. Not one of us, we said we would have all the inspections go. We agreed to that with the chief. While we didn't have a mechanic to go up and at least get the inspections that are necessary.
I thought those had been approved.
No.
They were approved to get the cars repaired.
$1,000 for a catalytic converter?
Has anybody,
That's
I don't think, the
absurd.
catalytic converter was...
it's not only that, now, hold on a minute, here's the
That is
bill.
necessary for an inspection.
But it's not necessary to have a dealership install it.
No, the total of that bill
Dealership.
from that vendor
The total
incorporates
is
about...
$2,336 for the month for the car, all the cars. Did you see it? So here's the 3B.
That's not what we're paying them, though. If you look at the check, it's about $1,165
No.
in total.
23...
23,336 230 is the check. Am I wrong?
Yep. No, that's right.
Okay, so
Thinking 1,100.
you look at it, we have a catalytic
1165.
converter, labor is $240.
Someone's
A
got it.
bushing, a bush, operation total $318.
For bushing?
And then a toe link is loose, that was $122.46.
Loose.
Four-wheel toe in adjust, $89.95. Oh, we got a special parts discount for $7.05.
Where was that? Auto Serve?
Total,
We always do alignments up at
$1,000,
Northeast.
Northeast usually.
$1,005.98, just for the 3B. Just for the 3B. Now, the 6B got just an inspection, $49.95. And then the 10A got a lube, oil, filter.
How much, we have a 55-gallon drum of oil, right?
We didn't
In the
have a-
garage.
We didn't have a mechanic.
Anybody to do it. So the problem I have here is that
So the 10A cost
Anybody can change
$201. The 10A cost $201.37.
For an oil change?
For oil change,
Okay, oil change isn't necessary for an
an
inspection.
inspection, and then diagnostic check engine light on, diagnostic check light is on, test for codes, retrieved
How much was that?
P2135, ran Oasis, no messages, followed PPT, DV in workshop manual, found faulty throttle body, $101. I mean, our total was $2,330.92. It's,
So the problem I have is that the service is already provided when I get this.
but we didn't authorize it.
We told them to go have them
specifically
inspected.
We specifically said
inspected.
Have a
inspection.
catalytic converter to have them inspected.
Well, I would say that's.
They won't
that's an
inspect it with a
issue.
faulty one.
That's an issue for the chief. I
Take
can
it
hold the
someplace
check.
else.
Well, we didn't tell them to do that.
I can hold the
I hear
check.
rumor there's one with a clear sticker. I haven't had a chance to look.
Is there?
I can hold that
That's
check.
a rumor I've heard.
But I think that's really
The
it.
work is complete, we have to pay them, and I mean, that's not, but the issue is, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, when we sit down with the department head, and we say, this is what we want you to do, is that message really getting to the people that take care of the fleet and say, okay, go over it, get over, whatever needs to be done, do it, because that's what it seems like being done.
I don't know.
Most of the, except for the oil change, most of those things you read off have to be done for an inspection.
But they don't need to be done by the most expensive place.
Okay, but
that's
we
gonna-
didn't put those conditions on
No,
it.
we did not.
We said, get them inspected.
When was the inspection due?
You put
When-
$1,000.
When the inspections due, the end of October or September?
September, I thought.
They're due in September. I'm pretty sure it's September.
Yeah, I think it's September.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have told them to take
All-
them someplace
all government,
else.
vehicles are due in September.
So, and the other thing is, the bill for Brian and Lawrence, it's
Still have one.
$1,200.
No, look at
1,100
it.
is for
Stuffed
the,
animals.
is for the stuffed animals for the park commission. The park
Okay.
commission's paying for that, for the Christmas event, yeah.
Take a deep breath. I
And in
saw
the-
that
and in the
and turned
past-
the page, and okay, that's
Well, and
what.
also in the past, they've been successful in getting donations. One year, all those stuffed animals were donated. Marina.
Well, they were for a couple of years, until last year.
Right, last
And
year was
then
the first year that.
The 5 days before the event,
Yeah, that was rough. Yeah,
What?
they wanted $26 apiece.
something like that.
Some
It was a
ungodly
lot.
price.
It was
Some
very-
crazy price.
At the very last minute.
And the chief ended up going out and getting donations for us.
Yes, I know.
It was crazy.
They took 06 off the
I
road,
haven't looked at the,
The 6C.
6C.
It's at the highway department, and I was told that they've relinquished their registration or whatever else.
Why? Oh, why are we taking that off the road and at the same time saying that we don't have enough cruisers for details? Okay, a gas tank, you can price it, $130. Fuel lines, you don't have to buy pre-bent. I don't know anybody that buys pre-bent. You buy it for it's like $17 for a length of line, and you make the fittings. Our mechanic could put that car on the road for $200, and we took it off the road. And
Why don't we ask our mechanic that we now have to take a look at it?
Ask him to pull it in the garage, take a look at that estimate, and see what he can do.
Yep.
And not a,
Want me to do it?
you know, it may not be a high priority, but, you know, in between stuff, or,
That's fine.
I don't know that they've taken anything off of it. I don't know if it still has the light bar.
and when they take the light bars and then off, what happens to them?
We store them
They
usually.
store them
Where are they?
in the basement of the PD or in the mezzanine.
Move on, and then that can become a detail car.
We probably have.
Or the SRO and pull the
I think,
black and white.
I think the prosecutor's using the town hall car.
Yes, he is. And we probably have a light bar in the basement of,
And
For it.
also the black,
The black one there.
the black one,
Drive.
the town one. No,
Beauty?
Oh, man.
so we've got,
His email?
we've got 6C, right?
Yeah, mechanic.
And we also have the black town car that could be turned into a detail car. There's 2 detail cars that, what's wrong with the other one is the alignment's off on it.
I don't think that's alignment. I think it's an arm.
Well, have
black
them,
one.
have them take a look at that.
It's, alignment is pretty, it's constant. This is different. This just kind of
When you
goes,
get up to speed, when you get up to speed,
yeah,
it's like.
this is doing a floating thing.
If it's, if
It's not pulling.
It's going like that, it's the camber. The camber, if you increase the negative camber, make it to 1 degree, then you don't get the floating. If the camber's off, which could be caused by a strut.
It could be. Could
But
be.
but I think that we should have the mechanic take a look at 6C in the black car and
Yep.
see what can be done to put those on for details, stop details, just parked or whatever, even slap. You know, if like the black one, if they could paint the door white and slap a town sticker on it.
Light bar on it, you could swap with the SRO.
And they must have light bars for those.
If it's just gonna sit there, do that, paint on the black one, paint the door white, put a sticker on it, and we're all set. You don't need a radio, they got handheld.
Yeah, it's for detail.
Because these cars shouldn't just, the worst thing you can do to a car is put it in a parking lot. It just rots from the bottom right out. Another project for our mechanic.
I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
Nice work on that.
Very nice.
So I would say in the next week, or latest 2 weeks from tonight, that we'll be working on, setting the tax rate, and I'll be sure to make sure that Joyce and I get on the calendar
Okay.
to do that. So-
Oh, one more thing. Great job on the audit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And I don't know if Gail helped, and Joyce, and Joyce must have helped some too, didn't she? Or was it all you?
It's all
Yeah, it was
Tim.
all Tim.
It's all Tim.
Because it said something about management helping, I read through that and all that.
We attest to
Should say it's
everything, including our
90% Tim.
firstborn.
I know that one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, I would say, it's definitely a team effort.
Yeah.
So, but,
I know you headed up, and you've always made sure that the system is,
it's,
and I know if there's a penny in the wrong place, it will drive you
it
nuts
does
all
drive me
night.
nuts. It does.
You'll find it.
It does, yeah. It's
So, yeah, thank
it's a
you.
lot of
That's-
work, and what is really hard to communicate is that there are ever more and more statements and regulations that we have to meet for the Government Accounting Standard Board kind of designation for a financial audit. And it's getting more and more complex, and more things that the auditor cannot do or cannot be involved in or can't direct you to, but it has to be done by the entity itself. And I'll tell you, I honestly, I've got a master's in governmental accounting. I can't imagine what some municipalities, go through. They probably have to hire a consultant or hire an auditor to help them
Outside
do some of these
a
other
firm.
things. 'Cause, it's getting very complex.
And you would think with software, things would be so easy now.
Many decisions are made along the way, but thank you, that's very
Thanks,
kind of you
Tim.
to recognize that. Yep.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Also, I want to mention, we have the minutes. Does anybody else have any business that they need to
Yep.
talk about tonight?
I have one thing.
Okay,
I have one thing.
let's do that. Go ahead, who's going first?
That,
All right.
I'll go. I looked at this, and the construction, and that does not look like $1,000 each. I can see over the top, I'm staring this far away from somebody else's face when I'm voting. That is a horrible waste of money. I think that we should send the others back, get the others fixed, and do better shopping. I suggested that we get one to take a look at it and we didn't. This is what we have, $5,000 worth of plastic. It's horrible. We need to save money. And I'm going to make a motion that we return those.
I'll second your motion, so we can discuss it.
Okay. What are our options? We've only got 2 weeks out.
Use what we have.
I know, but there are some of them that need to be fixed. So-
They're not serious fix. We just went through an election with it. Nothing fell apart. I mean, I had to go over and clip the curtain on, but that's nothing.
a few binder clips to hold
Curtain, but that's nothing.
but yeah.
And then look into really something that's a permanent fix.
There isn't much out there, but, an alternative could be a lot of, I know Nashua's buying these, so what are they doing with their booths like ours? We take some of theirs, you get parts for life.
I don't think that they're gonna last the 30 years that we have
Hell no.
on
I
ours
would
right
give those
now.
about 5 or 6 before something breaks. Plastic,
Yeah.
because of the chemicals and UV and
Right.
the air, just seems to...
How long did it take you to set it up?
Seconds, it doesn't take long.
The curtains already have come up in it.
No, that's a separate whole, it's a whole different thing with the curtains.
Okay.
I just think it's really strange that somebody is this far away from my face, or actually 3 other people.
Awkward, isn't it?
It's like,
We had
I'm
four-
voting, how are you? You remember the commercial with the medicine cabinet?
We had 4 of us sitting there. We flipped the signs, hey, how you doing?
But I think it was, I think we could do a better job shopping for them.
So, all right. Anybody else have any discussion? All those who in favor of returning the voting booths, using the ones that we have, can we return them? That's one
You
question.
must have a 30-day. What do you think, Peter?
I would think there'd be some time period to return them.
You might have to pay some freight.
What's your
but-
opinion of them?
Well, it's like, how long is the tabletop that
You can't
any
lean
sort
on
of
it.
pressure and it's
You really-
gonna
it's-
collapse?
It's really, there's a little plastic tab underneath
Okay.
that locks it in
and
place.
So you get someone that's rather large, if they lose their balance or something, try to catch themselves.
You were Democrat.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Trust me, you can see them. That would not do for me, I'm sorry.
Trump.
No, that's, please don't even say that word at this table.
I told you, there was 4 of us in there. We were all like, hey, how you doing over there?
Can I borrow your pen?
How you voting?
Vote on the motion. All those in favor
Of returning them?
of returning them?
Aye.
Aye.
You guys, you really hate them, don't you?
It's 5,000, it's a lot of money.
Send them back.
I
Aye.
thought they'd be a little
We're all
better.
in favor.
Send them back.
Well, I'll feel the wrath.
Send them back.
Okay. Just so you know that the emergency that I stepped away from is that our, one of the 2 residents that were here earlier got their car for parking not where they were supposed to be parked in the fitness. And I have an issue with that because last night I came here early enough so I could park out front for the budget meeting last night, and there was cars all over the place, and you couldn't get in. The budget committee meeting was canceled last night because we didn't have a quorum. Went outside, they're all coming out from the fitness place, and they have the cars on the side of the town hall parking. So we have a meeting tonight.
That's wrong.
Someone makes a mistake, parks there, they have them towed. That's wrong. That is just wrong. So from now on, every night I'm coming.
And they better be towed.
They better be towed.
Can we,
Speaking of line striping, when is that happening? We got to vote on that.
Joyce had a, what line on it, because she mentioned something about the pricing. I don't know if we
There was something that came out about Cumbies.
if they're not gonna put it in, we can just paint it in.
We can change it in, but the plan, the original plan at Cumbies showed them coming to the
Offset
left
a little
of the
bit.
thing.
Yep.
So Bill Lambert really has to take a look at the original plan, which was presented to us. It said the left of it. They have to take a look at that. Whether they do it next year or not, I don't know. But we
But-
need to paint that.
We
Here's
need a
the thing.
crosswalk.
Do you really want a sidewalk to the left of it?
But the
I mean, the
reason,
reason they're doing that is because of the ADA ramps, okay? But
Yeah.
we're not altering our sidewalk. They're doing this because they're altering the road.
But there are-
We're not altering our sidewalk. They're gonna put an ADA ramp into a sidewalk that goes nowhere, and they're still gonna have to step up onto a bridge that doesn't have to comply because of its age. It's historic.
There are a lot of people that go to the concerts.
So we paint this crosswalk in
But they
and bring
can't
it,
get up over the curbing, though, if they cross from Cumbies. They park at the doctor's office over there, which allow them to do it on Sunday
yeah,
night.
so they cross over there and then they come up.
because it's, yeah, it's level.
Then they're not crossing on a crosswalk, but okay, I mean,
Well, let's put a crosswalk in there for them.
all right.
Well, if they're not gonna go and put the ADA ramp in there, we should line it
gotta-
straight up like it used to be.
Yeah, if it's, yeah, let's just do it.
All right, what is the striping?
First, before that, about 45 seconds, the F-550 Fairfield spoke to the manufacturer, there's no help on that, so maybe we ask Kevin to take a look at welding that.
He said he could.
Okay, then we'll do that. Striping. First off, I would object to striping spots that are reserved for one business only, so I want to do all the others. Next door can stripe their own. Well, if you're going to do that, then I want my road plowed.
What do you mean, next door?
They have
The Tilton Inn
dedicated
has
parking
reserved
spots,
parking.
which if you park there, they'll tow you, most likely, like everyone else around here who is there, you know?
Well,
So-
just
Onions.
find out how much it's gonna cost for that, and he'll reimburse us for it.
Okay,
I mean, that would be a simple thing, right?
Yeah. Yep,
that's fine.
The add-on, yeah,
Right, I mean, they're his parking
be
spot, I
$100
agree.
or
So-
$50.
I've got two estimates. One out of Manchester, layout striping, to our specifications, town approximately, they had 75 stalls, parallel and angled. They included 4 ADA areas with the blue box and the wheelchair symbol. Edge line over by Cumbies, that was $980. Then one from, I think it's Laconia, yep. 140 lines, which would be what they calculated for all the parallel and angled, is $840. If you want to do the white lines by Cumbies and on the other side, that would have been $400. I've told them we'd probably be doing that ourselves. And 2 crosswalks would be $200, being Cumbies and Tilton
$100 a
House.
piece?
The 980,
do our own
does that
crosswalks.
include any crosswalks?
I don't believe so.
But we can do our own crosswalk.
Right.
I'd rather somebody do them first, and then we do it, get them done. now.
Crosswalks?
Ones that don't exist right now, Yeah, to layout.
We just
Well,
do
the other
straight
thing you
lines,
can
right?
do is, talking with,
Not the,
We don't do this, we
Yeah.
do this.
I think they
Well,
could probably put a chalk line down.
I'm
and
talking with
Make it chalk.
Lakes Region, they'll do the layout for us, and then we can stripe it ourselves if you want on the crosswalks.
Okay. Who would you recommend? You've talked to them?
Didn't we approve somebody at the other meeting at like 840?
980.
980?
Well, the 840 is
The 980
is
is it?
the parallel and angled from Lakes Region striping. And their work, if you want to see their work, they've done the stuff at the high school.
Did they include the lines by Cumbies and whatnot?
That was going to be like 400, because they had 1,500 feet, looking at the map. To me, those, we should have highway do. We can,
They're just straight lines.
yeah, the thing we've got to do is, I would suggest when we have R&D, do this paving, we do this gaps by Mishcon, and then between Cumbies driveway and the railroad track, and then on the other side to finish this end.
Yep.
And then,
Oh, are you talking about the white lines?
Yes,
that
those-
make
The white
That
lines.
draw our sidewalk in?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not one.
those they
road.
should be able to
What
do,
about I forgot.
our guys.
They can lay that out,
Yeah.
that's just.
Yeah. And then the only thing we'd do is when we have whoever stripe, we'd have a detail just to help out, keep cars out of the way, and,
Oh, it's, yeah, I think
so
so.
I think, I would
You're gonna need
say, they're relatively close, it's just Lakes Region's closer. You can see some of their work at the high
Go
school.
with them, let's motion them.
Okay,
Yep, I'll
motion.
motion them.
okay, second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
So you talk to them and
I'll talk to him, can I give him your number, Catherine, on layout?
so
Yeah.
we can talk about layout and where
Yeah.
everything's going?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's pretty
How
much,
soon can they do it?
within a week, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's,
Nice, very nice. job,
Porter's
Peter.
ready,
Porter is ready to go, and they've got a crew ready. They'll give me a day or two's notice that they're coming in. They were aware that it's ready to go.
okay.
I figure I'll call, at this point now, I'll call R&D and see what their time frame is for this sidewalk, bearing in mind we've got the Halloween, trying to avoid being torn up at that time.
You gotta take the handicap ramp up.
Right. Which, the highway would be doing that.
Porter all set with benchmarks down there with the wall and,
Are we highways taking up the
Yeah,
ramp?
yes.
oh, Highway's taking the ramp off, yes. They probably have Kevin.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Good.
Yeah.
All right,
think
he has
that-
construction experience.
Well, what do you mean by benchmark? Yeah, they got-
When we were down there looking at it, you had part of the wall on the riverside that was low.
Oh, it'll probably look like right out here when we're done, but you'll have a sidewalk you can walk on.
Okay.
That would be more.
Well, I just didn't want it hanging 2 inches above the rock and something stupid.
No, and,
It's asphalt, so.
highway started, ditching Manville.
I saw them today when I was at one Quinty's property.
Yeah, right now they're stockpiling the material right on the corner.
On private property.
The,
On private property.
on
They're gonna move
Morrison, right up, heading up the hill from me,
Yeah.
they've never cut the trees or the hedges, the neighbors, and they're way out there
Over the,
over the road. They're gonna have a hard time getting the dump truck through there, because
Okay.
on one side of the road, it's all tall birches.
okay.
that-
So Morrison,
What we can do is, yeah, I
can
don't know
take
if
a
we wanna
look.
do like we did for Winter Street, draw up a letter and give them like a week to let us know if they have issues
It
with
would
us.
be Yet is the one that has the biggest,
Who does?
Yet. He's a real nice guy that opened up the place next to me.
Okay.
They're oak trees and they're
so we
way
need
out in the
to
road.
get Joyce to send out a letter for the residents on Morrison Avenue and say, we're getting ready to do this. Are there any issues that, with the trees that we need to know about? You know,
Yeah.
are you-
I think the only one that has trees on that street that are anywhere near the road would be Yet, and Fontaine has some birch trees that you might want to tie up or do something.
The only one who's contacted us on Winter Street was Todd Corey, and talking with Fred, they've worked with him in the past and have no issues.
Cutting, pruning.
He takes care of the trees by his property. It's, the problem issue was further up the hill.
Do that, or if I see him out
That's,
there, I'll ask him if he wants me to cut them and leave the branches.
That's it for me.
Talk about trimming. Gail, can you let Winnipesaukee Trail Association know they've got some trimming to do on their trail? Chris Paquette said there's some areas that it's really hard to walk down.
Them trees.
I just have one thing, I made a promise that I'd bring it up. Onions would like to be able to replant a tree in the corner over here where we took the tree out. He'd like to put in a white cedar, which I guess is a, excuse me, I can only take this room so long. It doesn't bush out, I guess it's an evergreen, pretty much grows straight out, up.
Where kids can hide behind it, and that's where all the problems go.
No, it's a small tree.
But they pee in the alley or
This
get
is-
behind there and do it?
This is a small tree, like this.
That's,
This is a small tree.
you remember what was there?
I do. But we have
Leaves
that,
on it?
you get people sitting over here on the bench, right in front of the former Episcopal Church doing drug sales. You have people sitting in West Pocket Park, which is a jungle, doing drug sales. If I know they're drug sales, trust me, they're drug sales, because I haven't, it's not an avenue I walk down. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, but I know, we don't want it bad anymore.
I think it,
He'd decorate it. It would, I think it would look better if he had that type of tree, even though I hate them.
How is it gonna be for cleanup as far as around it? You know, because they...
It's not an area that we plow. We can tell him where to locate it within that block.
problem with white cedar being the type of tree it is, it's also susceptible to rust, which is caused by
He's gonna buy
salt.
the tree.
Well, salt, any salt that you use any near the soil of that turns
He'll buy
it all
it.
to yellow.
He just wants permission to plant it. We don't have to spend any money. It's his dime.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a tree
It's
that's gonna
look-
die.
It's gonna
Then
look,
he'll have to take it out.
Ask Bob, yeah, but I think we should just pave over it, have a blank space. I don't see,
I think it's nice to have one more place to have Christmas lights or
it's
something.
not a deal breaker for me, but, I mean, you're right, if they're gonna do drugs, they're gonna do drugs wherever it is, but I don't wanna promote it. But however, I mean, it's not a deal breaker if you guys wanna do it. What's the consensus?
I don't care either way.
Yeah, it's not a big thing for me. I just promised I'd. I think it would be nice to have a tree there. I was standing there looking at it with him today. I didn't like the tree that was there. It was too bushy. It should never have been there. But what he's talking about, if it is that type of tree that's just compact and grows straight up and is evergreen,
it's like a arborvitae thing.
yeah, the kind of hate.
Oh, that's, they can really...
I think it would look nice. We don't have to pay for it.
Get her done.
I say no, or wait, let's
say-
look at it and have Joe.
I say yes, let him do it.
Yeah, just let them do it. If it dies, we take it out, and we won't, and we
That's
pave
it.
over it. We pave over it. The guy's got some extra road left over, we pave it. If
It's a
it
3
dies.
yes, 1 no?
Yeah.
Gail, will you let him know
Consensus.
tomorrow?
Joe would probably say yes.
Let him know.
Let it be known.
Do we have Gail ask him if he wants to pay to have his striping done when we have ours done?
Sure.
We can just, because
What do you think?
he'll split it out.
And he'll split it out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you do that too, Gail? Just say that
I think
we
he
aren't
needs to
planning on
know
doing the
that-
striping if
and
he
check
wants while we
into
have the
What
contractor
happens to those when they get salt on
where
them?
he's mobilized here. He'll just pay basically for the cost of the
Double
striping.
check, so
He didn't take these with him.
Gail, John suggests you let him know that it is susceptible to a disease from salt, what did you call it,
Yeah, it
rust?
kills it, yeah.
That'll kill it.
The tree that he's thinking about
So
putting
you should
in.
check into it. If he also deviates from that species of tree, we need to know.
So if he goes to red cedar, you want to know?
Not to exceed
No,
75
cedar.
feet.
He deviates from, I don't want a bushy tree there. I don't want a bushy tree. I'm kind of with Pat. I don't mind something small, cone-shaped, even though I think they look
Small shrubbery.
stupid.
Where would you get it, from a shrubber?
Shrubbery?
He's in a mood.
Shrubbery?
Is there anything else that needs to come before us?
Next week. Motion to adjourn.
Minutes? Wait a minute,
Oh, come
minutes?
on, motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Yes.
Is that a second?
second?
Yes.
Roll call.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Let's get the camera. Dying.
That's all, folks?
Vote with your feet.